What's up? 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 What is up? How are y'all doing today? It is Friday, and y'all know what that means. That means we're gonna have us a good old time tonight. I am your host, Emmanuel Eman Noisette, and I want to thank each and every one of you for making the time to come out and hang out with your boy. I really appreciate it. Today we are going to cover some of the news from the week, and a little bit older because we skipped the week before that. We've got some DC news. So we'll be talking about Green Lantern. We got an official response from the Acolyte cancellation. And then we've got some more Marvel drama with the whole Beau DeMayo versus Marvel situation. So we will cover all of that and a couple other things as we go through the topics tonight. Let's see, just a couple of oh no, what happened to all my history? Oh, I don't know what happened, but for whatever reason, I can't see all the people that were here earlier. That sucks. What's going on? Okay, anyway. So let me just say that since this is acting all weird and I can't see everybody that came in earlier, shout out to everybody. I see y'all, not really, but I see y'all. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate y'all. So just a global wide shout out to everybody. What do we have? Do we have any housekeeping notes? I missed y'all. I did miss y'all. Shout out, first of all, let me give a quick shout out. Shout out to all the fantasy football players that have joined Eman's Fantasy League. We have finally got most of y'all in here. Yeah, ain't gonna be no more talking about it. We all about to see what you made of in these fantasy streets. Okay, so we got the fantasy teams out there. Shout out, Famous J. I don't want to call nobody government names. My man Sheed, all of y'all. Appreciate you guys signing up and having some fun with me playing fantasy football. So that should be a good time. What else do we have? I think that's about it. Speaking of football, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna try to get through these topics because I do want to watch this game. Okay, the Eagles are playing. I need to see what happens because I have investments in all these teams at this point, and they don't usually play football on a Friday. So I know some of y'all want to go watch it as well, and that's cool. But look, we got a job to do. We're gonna get through it. So again, shout out to everybody, and I appreciate y'all coming out. Hold on, what's this? DJ, what you got? How Kobe been? Who's your NFL team? First of all, it's the Bears because bear down. And I'm liking our chances this year, liking them a lot. Got that number 1 draft pick, got that number 9 draft pick, made some nice moves out there. So I'm liking our chances for the Bears. And Kobe's been cool. Kobe just Kobe just got It's funny because he doesn't know that I got eyes everywhere. Okay. He don't know that I can see everything. Usually I come upstairs, he comes upstairs, or something like that, right? He follows me everywhere. But for whatever reason, Kobe thought to himself, I'm just gonna stay downstairs. I'm not gonna go upstairs, with Master going upstairs. I'm gonna just stay down here. I said, oh, okay, all right. So I just wanted to see what Kobe was gonna do if I wasn't around. Kobe don't know I got them eyes on that dog. Okay, he don't know. Okay, listen, I work in IT. I got eyes all around. He don't know. So I let him rock. I let him rock. He started walking around, all good, sniffing, playing with his toy. Cool. Then he decided to walk into the pantry. Oh, Kobe. Now you know that ain't no place for you. Because he don't do this when other people are around. So I wanted to see what he would do when he's by himself. He walked in the pantry. You know that nose get you in trouble. And I'm like, okay, a dog is going to sniff. I don't have a problem with that. That's just your nature. Then I saw this dog get up on his hind leg. I said, what? You must have forgot. You clicked, boy. You must have forgot. You must have forgot. You still got that little... Boy, I hit him with the sound. I didn't do the vibration of the shock. I just hit him with the beat. Hit him with that beep. Oh, they got me. He was so shook because he didn't know that people could see him at the same time. So yeah, he got shook, a little surprised. And here's how you know he was guilty. Here's how you know. Because even though it was just a beeping sound, he turned around, he looked around, couldn't find nobody, walked his little, because I could hear his paws, walked his little paws right upstairs and sat right down next to me and was like, you rang? Okay, I'm just going to sit right here. No problems. Yeah. So that's how Kobe's been doing. Realizing that you can't just get away with stuff. Okay. I'm always watching. Anyway, figured I'd give y'all that quick little update. Okay. So, okay, let's get through some of these because I do want to watch that Eagles game. So first up, we do have an update here for Oceans. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I've told y'all before, I love a good heist movie. Heist movies are one of those things that I feel like it's hard to make a bad one, right? Like you have to make a heist movie engaging and suspenseful and thrilling. And one of my favorites, at least franchises, has been Ocean's 11. Like Ocean's 11 with George Clooney, Brad Pitt, rest in peace, Bernie Mac. That to me was like one of those classic type of movie franchises that I haven't seen a bad one, right? But as y'all know, Hollywood gone Hollywood, and ain't no way they not gonna make another Oceans movie. So it looks like here we do. Nope, that's not it. There we go. We got another Oceans movie coming, and Oceans 14 is currently in the works. They said that George Clooney and Brad Pitt will be coming back, so they will come back. They got Edward Berger, who did All Quiet on the Western Front, won a bunch of Oscars and all that. So he's also in talks to direct. All I need to know is my man Don Cheadle coming back? I want to know if my man Don Cheadle's coming back. I like the fact that you're getting the crew back. Of course, we got to get Matt Damon back. I don't know who's gonna take Bernie's role, but I'd like to have a nice little shout out for him as well if they do that. But yeah, I'm on board for this. Just because again, how can you go wrong? How can you go wrong with another heist movie? I don't care how old they get. This is fine. I'm okay with this. But y'all let me know, how do you feel about another Oceans movie happening? Do you like the fact that Brad Pitt and George Clooney are coming back? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. Next up, we got a Joker 2 update. So Joker 2 or Joker Folie à Deux is coming out pretty soon. I believe it's at the end of this year, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. And listen, if you followed my page and I've enjoyed Joker, the first movie. I enjoyed it. I like the twist. I like the whole, psychosis stuff going on. I like that, right? And it did a pretty good job, even though Batman wasn't even in there, right? So this movie went off to make $1 billion. And even though director Todd Phillips said he did not envision doing a sequel, Warner Brothers was like, did you see that $1 billion? Make us another one. Run it back right now. And they cut that man a check, and he sat there and he made another movie. Now, I have said that I'm very concerned about any director, any creative being pushed into making a sequel when it's not coming from an organic place. John Krasinski is an example. Now, he didn't want to make A Quiet Place Part 2, but after the first one was successful, He ended up directing a second one. Now, it wasn't bad. The second one wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good as the first, in my opinion. So or look at Watchmen, the HBO series, which you absolutely should watch. The Watchmen series, Damon Lindelof, he went and did that, and it was getting a lot of awards, a lot of attention for HBO. And they was like, yo, run it back. And he was like, nah, I ain't gonna do it. Why? Because he was like, I don't have no desire. I don't have no ideas. I'm not inspired to do it. So there's no point in doing it. And I like that. I like the fact that if you don't have to force another sequel, then just don't do it. Just don't do it. Um, I see folks talking about the Matrix. Yeah, that shouldn't have been made, in my opinion. Like the last Matrix movie, and I'm a Matrix fan. I love the Matrix more than most people, but that last movie, nah, they shouldn't have made that. Nah, just nah. But anyway, when it comes to Joker 2, one of the apprehensions people have is the idea that this is all going to be a musical. Now, they were just at TIFF, the Toronto Film Festival, International Film Festival, and they premiered the movie over there. And they were talking about they got some standing ovations, blah blah blah. But after the Q&A, or during the Q&A, I think Lady Gaga was talking about how they're avoiding, that they wouldn't call this a musical and stuff like that. And I think it's really just because you don't want people to think it's a musical, because that can be a turnoff, right? But we do have the first initial reviews from Joker 2. So these are the people that got to see it at the film festival, critics, maybe fans, I don't know. Most of these are critic reviews, and it has come out at a whopping 59%. Yikes. Yikes. So when was this? Okay, this was September 4th. So let's see what it is today. Okay, all right. After three more little reviews, it went back up. So it's fresh-ish, right? It's kind of sort of fresh, kind of, and I told y'all, be careful with these. 60% of critics, so 60% of that 44 thought that it was good. Good enough. So if you're thinking about a piece of fruit, this is really a tomato with a couple bruises on it. Are you gonna eat a tomato with bruises? I pass them up. I need a nice shiny red tomato. I can't have no, bruised up tomatoes. But when the little fuzz start growing on it, I'm not eating that. I ain't cutting around that. But I think what this does tell me is that this movie is clearly going to be divisive. It's clearly going to have different opinions. Some people are going to love it, some are going to hate it. And I felt like I wanted to say that was the case with the first movie, but I don't really remember exactly how everyone initially felt about it. It took me a second viewing to like the movie. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, man, whatever. The second time, I was like, yo, okay. So I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, I'll definitely be reviewing this movie when it does come out, because I'm very curious to see. But I will say that I would not be surprised if this movie is trash. I would not be surprised by that. Um, I'm trying not to judge it ahead of time, mainly because it is so weird, mainly because this is coming from the perspective of two crazy people. So I don't know. I don't know, but y'all know I got you covered. I'll review it and I'll watch it for you, and I'll let you guys know. But you guys let me know, how do you feel about the Joker movie? Is this something that you're looking forward to? Are you interested in? Is this something that, when you need more information, whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. All right. Okay, hold on now. We got some love. Hold on. Oh man, hold on. I got to say thank you so much to Low Key. Shout out to Low Key. Is she here today? I think she is. Yes, I see Low Key. Thank you so much, ma'am. Sending some love right back. She says happy Friday, E-Man, and a $25 cash app. Thank you so much. Because of people like you, this channel does not need to have ads every 5 minutes. So thank you, Low Key. I appreciate you very much. Um all right, let's move on. We have Invincible. Now, you guys know Invincible, the cartoon show, the comic book, has definitely been something pretty entertaining to watch. I've enjoyed it. But it's always been plagued with the whole issue of taking too long and, taking forever and a day. But it seems as though this ain't it, right? So, like, we have the TV show, and of course, you have the comic, but apparently, there's more to come with this, and that is that this is going to get a live action movie. Now, I don't even remember this news when it came out. I think it came out in 2017. It was reported that a live action movie was going to come out. So that's kind of interesting. And it's going to be developed or directed by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. They're both going to write and direct the film. Let's see. So Robert Kirkman gives us an update on the movie. Remember, Robert Kirkman is the creator of Invincible. He said here, the live action is still in development. We're still working with Universal. The show is going so well. I think the movie absolutely has to be perfect. And so it's taking a lot of time, like getting the pieces aligned and getting everything to work, so that we can come out and make it as good as as it can possibly be. So it's been in development for a long time, and it's probably going to be in development for a while longer. So this is my main concern with that. I love the fact that they care enough to make this as good as possible. I like that. This is literally what you want from any type of creative. When they're cooking something up for you, take your time, make sure it's right. So when we eat it and we take it and consume it, it's delicious. But I hope that it's not going to take so much time that we miss out on certain things. So, for example, I'm thinking of Omni Man. You know, I feel like Jeffrey Dean Morgan has to play Omni Man. Like, that's got to be the best casting decision I can think of. Let me see in case some of y'all don't know Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Y'all remember y'all know him, right? Y'all know Jeffrey? Hold on, there you go. Y'all know Jeffrey? Like, man, come on now. If he ain't, let me see. Ain't Omni Man. I know somebody made a fan art. Boom, look at that. If he don't look like Omni Man, if that ain't the perfect Omni Man for people to see, come on now. That's him. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is absolutely Omni Man. Negan, yeah, he played Negan and Walking Dead. But I think he would be perfect for the role. I think they need to hurry up, get it going. Let's not wait until Jeffrey Dean is like, 70 and then be like, all right, we finally got it together. Don't waste that talent. So I would love for them to hurry up and get that together, because one of the things that they end up doing with the show, they have so many guest stars that come in and voice these things. I feel like that adds to the delay to have all these different, celebrities. First, we don't care about the celebrity voices like that. It's nice. It's cool to have a nice celebrity voice and be like, oh yeah, it's that guy. But don't, if that's holding up production, it's not necessary. Please don't do that. So I hope they're not sitting here trying to make this a big deal, and holding up the movie as a result as well. Now he goes on to say, just because in relation to the show, the live action has to provide a different experience. It has to still be true to Invincible in some interesting ways, but it has to be its own thing. And I totally agree with that. One of the challenges with doing anything from a comic book is, do we make it just like the comic book? Do we make it a little bit different? Okay, well, we got a TV show. Do we make the cartoon the same way? So I agree with him that, yeah, if you're going to give us a movie, you're gonna have to give us something slightly different that we wouldn't get from the cartoon, and that would make it interesting. Matter of fact, Kirkman, who also did Walking Dead, that's exactly what he did. The comic book is nothing like, well, it's something like, but the comic book is very different than the TV show of Walking Dead. The comic book is way more graphic, it's way more explicit with things. And the order of events is different as well. So if you were a comic book reader, you could watch the TV show Walking Dead and have a completely different experience. So if he's doing and I think, I haven't read the comic for Invincible, but I think that's what he's also doing with Invincible too. So if he can do that with the movie, I think that'll be very, very good. And we'll be in good hands in that case. Let's see. Last thing he says here. It says here the Invincible creator when then spoke to the difficulty of adapting the same story through multiple mediums. He says, well, I think it's difficult, and I think you can. That's why the development process is taking so long, because it's tough to figure out. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, if you got to sit here and really find a way on how to make this different than before, I understand. I understand. So listen, as long as you get the violence and the graphic nature, maybe show a couple different perspectives, I think this is going to be a winner. The one thing I would say that I would hope they would keep for the movie, you got to have that subway scene. If you've seen the first season, y'all know what I'm talking about. You need to keep that subway scene, the train scene, and, and you need to keep that opening. You got to keep that Justice League opening as well. You can change everything else, but you got to keep that opening, and you got to keep that subway scene. When I tell you those were the ways I got hooked to this show, that opening scene with the fake Justice League, I was like, what am I about to watch? What is this show? And can I have some more? So if you give me them two scenes in a movie, you already are winning. You're already winning. But anyway, guys, y'all let me know, what do you think about a live action Invincible movie? Are you here for it? Who would you like cast in certain roles? And what type of things would you like to see in that live action movie if and when it finally gets made? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. Oh, hold on now. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much from the homie Zia. Thank you so much for the $10 cash app. Says happy Friday. Thanks for no ads. No, thank you. Thank you for no ads. I appreciate y'all, because I don't have to feel the pressure of, oh man, am I gonna make enough money to keep the lights on and pay the bills? And I don't have to do all that. I can keep this experience nice and smooth for y'all. Thank you so much. It really does go a long way. So I appreciate y'all. I guess we could do this. You know, Rings of Power. I'm curious. Are y'all watching Rings of Power? Because Amazon has put a lot of money behind Rings of Power. I mean, like, this is supposed to be what Game of Thrones was for HBO. Rings of Power is supposed to be that for Amazon. And I ain't gonna lie, I had started the first season and I gave up. I was bored. I did not care. I didn't know what the hell they was talking about. And let me just give you some background. The Lord of the Rings books were probably the first books that I read as a kid in middle school that I was like really, really in love with, right? I mean, I read comic books or whatever, but it was like the first series that I really just like. I got into The Hobbit, I got into The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, I got into all of that, and I fell in love with those fantasy type stories because of that, right? Or one of the reasons why. So, I love the movies, love the books. So I was already locked in for Rings of Power, but my goodness, they bored the hell out of me. And what I started to realize was that they made this show for the nerds. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to realize this is an example of when I tell y'all about comic book movies, they don't need to attract you, right? They don't have to write for you because the real goal is getting everybody else. The hardcore nerds that love Lord of the Rings, Tolkien, all of that stuff, they're going to show up anyway. But if you make that stuff too niche, if you make it so specific and all only for them, you're going to lose everybody else. And even though I was not a hardcore, fan like that, like, I mean, I read the books, but I wouldn't say I was like a hardcore fan like that because I couldn't read the Similarian. That was way too deep and thick. I couldn't read it. But they lost me. They lost me. So but I did go back and finish it. I finished watching season 1 and I liked the twist that they added at the end. The twist at the end brought my interest back. I'll say that. I did get back into the mix thanks to the twist ending and the big reveal or whatever at the end. That was cool. But I have to admit, it's been a struggle to get me into season 2. Now, granted, I'm busy doing other things and watching other things, but this doesn't have the same pull that House of the Dragon had on me, when that debuted or when the second season came out. I'm like, yo, I gotta watch my House of the Dragon. Rings of Power, not so much. So I thought it was just me. I thought, man, maybe I'm just, too busy. Maybe it just ain't popping. It's gotta be me. But apparently it ain't just me. Because apparently Rings of Power has been struggling. It says here, according to the data from Samba TV, 902,000 U.S. households tuned in for the premiere episode within 4 days of its debut. If you think that's a lot, listen up. It's half the audience that the first episode of season 1 drew in less time. 1.8 million U.S. households had watched the first episode last time. Now, Samba TV doesn't measure mobile, so let's keep that into consideration. It says Samba's data doesn't tell the whole viewing story, though it does give a pretty good picture of the episode's performance, and it indicates a steep drop in interest season over season. Yikes. And I just wanted to look at some of y'all responses. Let me scroll up, see if y'all actually talked about. Did y'all watch it? No. I got some. Hold on. Let me see. Let me just see, because I don't care about the Samba people. I care about y'all. Did you watch it? Nope, not yet. Missed. Not watching. Nope. Watching but confused. Damn, not a absolutely not. Okay, we got one. Okay, watched it. Okay, and then it's okay. See, and Aisha, I'm probably gonna join you very soon. And watching season 2. I got other stuff I got to cover right now, but damn. Listen, if the E-fam ain't watching it, I know I'm not watching it. Okay, but at least let me bring that back. I'm not going to be in a hurry to watch it, right? So this sucks. This sucks because, oh my gosh, Amazon, I think they put $400 million into this, which is, I want to say, it's like the highest amount for a TV show like in history. So, woo, man, that's sad. That is sad. Aisha, I got you. I'm going to tune in. I'll tune in. It's probably going to be a minute, but I will tune in. I just got to make sure I have my coffee first. Maybe I'll watch it during the day. I don't know. But anyway, guys, y'all let me know, how do you feel about Rings of Power? Are you even watching Rings of Power? Have you ever watched Rings of Power? Do you plan on watching Rings of Power? Whatever you think, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I should have mentioned too, like after that first season, I started to like go down the rabbit hole of researching all the crazy stuff and all the mythology, and it was fascinating. And then House of the Dragon came on, and I was like, all right, forget it. Just get out my face. I can only handle so many fantasy, type of things at one time. I couldn't do both. You can't have me watching Rings of Power and them dragons at the same time. It's not gonna happen. Something gonna have to give. And I'm sorry, them rings had to go. All right. Oh my goodness. Hey, shout out to my man Minister Crush. Thank you, brother. He says thank you for what you do, brother. Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate you for the $20 cash app. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate y'all supporting the channel like that. Thank you for that. What else? We got my man Chris, what you got? Going to see Beetlejuice. We only say it one time. Tomorrow after I get my car fixed, and today is Friday. Hey man, good luck on your car. I just literally, I'm so mad. Can I vent? I think I can vent. He don't watch this. Man, listen, I just got my car fixed twice. Because first, everybody got their guy. I let my guy work on the car. All of a sudden, you just hear things cracking, and you like, hey man, I ain't no mechanic, but is that supposed to crack like that? Oh yeah, I got it. Next thing you know, I'm turning on my car. I'm like, Nick, what did you do to my car? Now, he only charged me about $150, so I'm like, I can't really be mad, but at the same time, bro, I got to go to work. What are you doing? So I had to do what I think everybody never wants to do, and I had to go to the dealer. Because, y'all know them dealers. The dealers don't, there needs to be a law. Let me tell you something. Whoever want to be president, I don't even care who it is. You tell me that you're going to reduce the labor fees at car dealerships, you got my vote. I don't care. Whoever Green Party, red, white, blue, right, left, I don't care. Whoever running for president, if y'all could lower the dealership fees, you got my vote. These mofos hit me up for like $1,300. I'm like, yo, my car is barely worth it. So Chris, I hope you get your car fixed, and I hope it don't cost you an arm and a leg. Because I almost said like, hey man, go ahead and take this. I ain't got no $1,200, $1,300. Oh, felt my soul come out my body. But my car works. I will say that, but my car works. Whatever that means. I'm sitting here like my car worked, but my wallet is still back there. Like, I don't anyway. Yeah. So when I tell y'all, I appreciate y'all. I really do. Okay. Like I really do. But no, Chris, I hope everything works out for you, brother. For real. And good luck watching Beetlejuice. I have not watched it yet. I don't think I will. I think I will wait till it's on streaming. Even though I did like Beetlejuice when it came out as a kid, I just haven't had the desire to go watch it like as an adult. I don't know. And I like Michael Keaton. I like everybody in there, but I don't know. Hopefully you have a great time though, man. Thank you for sharing. Let's see. Taz, curious, E-Man. What's that fantasy team look? Man, listen, you don't want to know about that. You know what? Taz, I'm gonna save that for later. I'm gonna save it for later because I gotta go to, you know, my team and everything. You know, I think it's all right. I think it's all right, but I'm gonna save that for later. Okay, I'm gonna save your comment. We're gonna come back to that, Taz. Okay, we're gonna come back. I don't want to hold people up, but we'll come back. My man Nelson, I go to the dealership and ask for a discount. Yo, you know what? You know what? That's not a bad idea, though. That's not a bad. Listen, closed mouths don't get fed. I'm mad I didn't think about that. I should have straight. Excuse me, sir. Do you have any discounts? You know, hold on. See, you got to do it the real way. Excuse me, sir. Do you have any discounts? Please, sir. I just need a discount, sir. I'd have to hit him up with one of those. Oh man, thank you for that, Nelson. I appreciate you. All right, let's go. We did that. Let's move on. Let's do a biopic. So, man, y'all know if it's one thing Hollywood loves, if it ain't a reboot or a sequel, it's a biopic. Okay, I've heard people call it biopic. I don't know how that works. I call it a biopic. I don't know. But anyway, tomato. We've had, you know, we got the Michael Jackson one coming up, right? The Michael Jackson one is coming up. That stars his nephew. And you know, the cast seems pretty solid for that. We've had a couple, you know, we had Elvis not too long ago, or whatnot, but it seems like we're gonna have another one. Now, I've always been a little iffy about biopics for a couple of reasons. Because for one, I like to believe that I want the biopic to really reflect as much of the truth as possible of the person that they're depicting, right? But that can get tricky, especially if the biopic is something where the family's not involved, where the person is still alive, right? Or whatnot. I don't know. But like there's all these different things. Matter of fact, just real quick shout out. I just saw the trailer for I was gonna play it, but it would YouTube won't let me live. Mr. McMahon. Vince McMahon, for all my wrestling fans, Vince McMahon is going to have a 6-part documentary on Netflix. I cannot wait. I'm watching the mess out of that. I've been a wrestling fan since I was a kid, okay? Like little kid. Since I could walk, I was dropping elbows, okay? Giving people big boots with my booties on my feet. Like I've been a wrestling fan. Shout out to my grandma putting me on the Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. Oh yeah, you know, I was in it. But all this time, I had no, and I remember as a kid, Vince McMahon bamboozled me, completely caught me off guard. Y'all, this gonna go to the old school fans. Y'all gonna be the older fans. This man was literally in the commentary, you know, table, just like JR, just like King, and he was calling the shots and all this stuff. I had no idea this mofo ran the whole business. He pulled basically a whole Squid Games on us for years, just sitting here lying to us. I'm like, why is Bret Hart yelling at the ring announcer? What is the problem? Like, why is he talking to the ring guy? This ain't nobody. Meanwhile, he talking to the boss. Blew my mind. But anyway, I'm watching the mess out of that. It's a 6-part series. From what I've heard, the series start, and it's funny because that's not even the topic. But it's funny because it's a 6-part topic, 6-part doc, and it takes place I think initially, and he's in it, by the way. He's in the documentary. But it started off as about his life and his career, and then scandals came about. And I believe the last part of the whole thing goes into the messy, nasty stuff, you know, into the whole scandals that he's been involved in. So I think, I don't want to say they tricked him, but it sounds like it started off one way, but it ended off another. And I don't think he had any real say in the other part. So I can't wait. This feels like it's going to be like the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, the Lifetime thing. Wrestling fans, listen, I'm watching that. I'm watching that as woo, and Bret Hart in there too. I'm watching that. Anyway, I should have made this topic about that. But it's not even about that. We about to pivot so hard. It's not even about Vince McMahon or wrestling. It's about another TV person, I guess. Because again, I don't know why everybody gets a biopic, but now y'all probably never even would have guessed this. Why is Steve Harvey getting a biopic? Steve Harvey, Mr. Family Feud, Mr. Beauty Pageant America, and Mr. Hightower from the Steve Harvey Show, and he's getting a biopic. All right, let's read about why. It says objectively good media is in early development on 72, an authorized biopic on actor, comedian, and TV presenter Steve Harvey. It says here 72 centers on a transformative 72-hour period ahead of a career-defining performance for Harvey at the legendary Apollo Theater in 1993. The film will provide audiences an intimate look at the perseverance and challenges that define Harvey's career. At age 29, Harvey left a secure sales job to pursue a career in comedy, facing numerous obstacles along the way. However, by 36, he was confronting a period of self-doubt and personal struggles as he prepared for the performance that would alter his career trajectory. Now, this comes from Steve Harvey himself. He says, I've been reluctant to make a movie about my life for years until I read the pitch for 72. It focuses on one of the most difficult moments in my journey and career and shows the world that hope is never truly lost. Wait until you see what we do with this. Anyhow, so this is going to be interesting. I'm curious to see where in his career they're going to do this. Is this going to be the 72 hours when he was young and then he goes into comedy? Is this going to be the 72 hours before Kings of Comedy? Because I think Kings of Comedy is where his career really skyrocketed. I'm also curious, and I doubt that they do this. Are you going to get into the other stuff? Because something tells me Steve has been very protective of his image for a long time. Now, is this going to be Cat Williams approved? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I mean, if you know, right? Like, Cat Williams had a lot of things to say about Steve Harvey. And I'm also wondering if this documentary will paint Steve in a way that is so radically different than what I believe, culturally accepted to believe about Steve Harvey. People have already said he was a hater of Bernie Sanders, of Bernie Mac, and he was stealing people's material and stuff like that. So I'm just wondering if this might backfire, because one thing that I could see happening, and if it happens, I'll take this credit for predicting it. If this documentary come out, I know Shannon Sharpe is going to be like, yo, Cat, ready for part 2? You not going to tune in? Y'all not going to tune in? If that documentary come out and Cat Williams says, I need to call some things out, y'all not going to tune in? I think that's an automatic couple. How many million? You got 72 something millions on that? Listen. So I'm still a little iffy about this because, again, Steve is still alive. Again, I'd prefer biopics to be when the person's long gone. Maybe their family is still around. maybe it's based off of a book or something. That's fine. But it's like, come on, man. You hear, like, I can't help but to believe this is going to be slanted in a very positive way, which I get it. I understand. If somebody was doing a biopic of my life, I'm going to show y'all all the nasty, dirty stuff that I don't want nobody to know about because college was a time. Okay. But we're not going to talk about that. I'm just saying, usually you want biopics to keep it real. That's all. You want it to keep it real and be unbiased as possible. It might lean a little, but you want it to be as unbiased as possible, you know. But I don't think that I don't think we're gonna get that here. But I don't know. You guys let me know. What do you think about this Steve Harvey biopic? Is this something that you would want to see? Is this something that you're curious about? Will you tune in? Maybe you need a trailer. I don't know. Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, we making some good time, y'all. Good time. Rhonda, what you got about that From challenge? You know I'm there. Listen. I've put that back out in these streets. Okay, I had to bring up the From challenge one more time in case y'all didn't know. Okay, From season 3 is coming up September 22nd. Okay, just a couple days around your boy's birthday. But please stay tuned. Please, I got so much stuff. Rhonda, you're gonna be happy. I have theories. I have bold predictions. Like, I got some predictions. You know, some of my theories. One of the things that bothers me is the fact that I think I might have actually cracked the case. And it's kind of sucky because I'm finding so much evidence to support what my theory is. Like, I think I figured it all out. And it's kind of depressing me because now there's not that much more guessing to do. But I'm still going to put it out there. But we're going to do interviews. We're going to do breakdowns. We're going to do theories. This about to be the next From channel for the next 3 months. Y'all going to be sick of me. I don't care. But From is going to be it. Okay. But yes, we will be on it. So please stay tuned. And yeah, I don't know if we're going to do that live that we did last time. I don't know if we're going to do that again. I don't know. That was a little extra. All right. Let's talk about the women's. So, you know, one thing I think has always been a plus in today's world is that we get more women on screen, right? No longer are they just regulated to being background characters that only care about the men and all that. We're getting some good, strong female leads, right? So now you have up and coming star Jenna Ortega, and she was talking about just the status of female leads in the Hollywood industry nowadays and what she would like to see more of. I mean, currently she's the head star in Wednesday on Netflix, and of course she's also in Beetlejuice. I feel like she's starting to get a little typecast. I feel like, if it's dark and gothic-y, put her in there. I feel like she's getting there, but whatever. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. But she is calling on Hollywood to step it up for the women. Step it up. She says here, I love that there's a lot more female leads nowadays. I think that's so special, but we should have our own. I don't like it when it's like a spinoff. I don't want to see no Jamie Bond. Okay. Listen. I can really sympathize with where she's coming from. And I think she makes a very valid point. I think that, when we have movies that come from an authentic perspective, it works, right? You had Barbie. Barbie only made $1 billion, right? Original character, well, not original, but like it wasn't like a spin-off of something, right? That worked. You had I liked Charlize Theron's Atomic Blonde, Old Guard. Like, it obviously can work if you do things from a female perspective rather than, hey, let's do a female version of something that's already established. Because I think at that point, yeah, you're gonna have your sexists out there, you're gonna have your misogynists out there, but I think overall the sentiment is you couldn't just highlight someone specific. You couldn't highlight someone original. I mean, Wonder Woman was a success. Why? Because it wasn't about like, hey, let's turn Superman into a woman and not do Supergirl, but we'll just do Clark Kenta. Like, I don't know, Clarky, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Like, as long as you're not doing these type of spin-off weird type of things, I think people can embrace that. So I totally support that. And the reason why I can embrace this is because I think it's very similar to what they do with black characters a lot of times. I don't want to see a white Shaft, right? The same way I don't want to see a black Clark Kent, right? You can give me, an actual character that's originally black and give me that story. You can give me a Blade. You can give me a Spawn. Yes, I'm doing comic book movies. You can give me a Creed movie. You can do those type of things, and I'll take that more than some sort of gender swap, race swap type of thing. So I agree with her. I'm glad that she's speaking up on that. And like I said, she's up and coming, but hey, if that's what it takes for people to listen, so be it. So be it. So shout out to her. But y'all let me know, how do you feel about the idea of having more female-led movies? Do you like the idea? Maybe you think they do need to do spin-offs, and maybe the spin-offs will be better. I don't know. Do y'all want to see a female Rocky? Maybe that'll work. I don't know. Maybe it's spelled IE instead of Y. Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Oh yeah, good points. Yeah, Salt, Lucy. I like those movies. Those were good. I like those. Oh, speaking of the women's, let's talk about strong women. Now, I think that a great example of a strong female character was Ripley from the Alien franchise. Now, I've already told y'all I am a fan of the Alien franchise. It is absolutely one of those type of franchises that I find very entertaining and I have a really, really good time with. And even though I do need to go back and watch the older movies again, because I did a binge watch like years ago. I got to go back and watch Aliens 2 and 3, and I might stop there because I think it goes downhill after that. But Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, was always a mainstay, as the lead in the Alien franchise. I mean, her, with the alien and the hot breath right next to her face and all that. I mean, that's iconic at this point, I think, for just in Hollywood in general. But she was talking about Alien, and are you gonna come back? Is this something you're gonna do again? So she had some comments and some thoughts about it, and she answered that in this interview. But first, she was talking about Alien 3, which, by the way, in case you didn't realize it, David Fincher he did Alien 3, but that had a lot of studio involvement. Like, the studio just would not let him live. If you thought what was going on with Zack Snyder was an issue, that's pretty much what happened with this too, to a certain extent anyway. And she reflected on that and said, I recall that Vincent Ward's original script had been about monks in a monastery, and Ripley was in a coma for half of it. So I keenly felt the lack of studio support. That was a transition moment when studios stopped being about let's make great films and started being about let's not lose money. They had the great idea to put David Fincher aboard for his first film, but then not to support the guy was very idiotic. I totally agree with that. So they asked her, "Are you going to come back to the Alien franchise?" She says, "I feel like Ripley's never far away from me, but on the other hand, I have yet to read a script that said you have got to do this. So for me, Ripley is in another dimension, safe from the alien for the time being. It's not completely impossible, and certainly a lot of good filmmakers are inspired by the material." Shout out Fede Alvarez. I don't really sit around and think about it, but if it came up, I would consider it. It has come up a bunch of times, but I'm also busy doing other things. Ripley has earned her rest. And the other thing she's talking about is basically Avatar. She's been doing Avatar. I think she's shooting both of them back to back. So like four, what are we on now? Three? We on three. So I think she's doing 3, 4, and 5 or something like that. So but I love the fact that she's not pushing for anything. I love the fact that she's not forcing anything. I love the fact that she's like, yo, when there's a script that makes sense, then I'll come back. Because if we're being honest, you did not need to have her come back. You know, they kind of forced it in Alien 3 by making a clone of her, you know, just to bring her back. Like they just had to find a way to bring her back. And it's like, I mean, I'm here for the Sigourney stuff like all day. Bring her on, but don't force it. So now I feel like this is getting close to the territory of what happened with Terminator. Y'all know Terminator after Terminator 2. Now, I know some of y'all swear by 3, but after Terminator 2, it's been downhill from there for me. And every single time, what did they do? Let's bring Arnold back. We gotta get Arnold. Let's get Arnold. Now, I love Arnold as Terminator, but my man is old. He's too old. Okay, like you know, even the Terminator was breaking down in the Terminator. You know, so it's one of those things where it's kind of like, yeah, unless you have a good reason for why Ripley would absolutely be needed, don't force it. It's just for what? Why? You know, so I don't know. I mean, I can't really think of a reason outside of I would be interested. I'd be interested if you had Ripley meeting up with David. Now that would be interesting because in case y'all forgot, David was the android played by Michael Fassbender. If you give me a movie, because we don't know what happened to David, and David is just out there in space playing, you know, alien daddy and just making aliens all over the place. If you give me a movie where Ripley confronts, even if it's the clone of Ripley, if she confronts David, now you have my attention. Now you have my attention. So yeah, outside of that, I can't think nothing differently about this, or I don't know what to think. But anyway, you guys let me know. Do you think that Ripley should come back to the Alien franchise? I know some of y'all scared and haven't watched Alien at all, so don't feel pressure to answer this. If you do, if you have watched it and you think she should come back, let me know why in the comments down below. Or even if you think she shouldn't, whatever you think, let me know. All right. Rhonda, what you got? I'll be waiting. I have a theory too. No live call. Please listen. No, we ain't doing that. You were really holding back laughing. Love Ridley's character. Ortega is typecast. Yeah, she is. I don't know why she just likes to only guilt those roles. I don't know. Yes, I listen. I was trying to be nice. I was a guest on that man's platform. Yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna do that. Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate you, ma'am. All right, let's move on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So, you know, I think that in today's world, um, we have things called trigger warnings, right? You know, you can chalk it up to wokeism, Some would say that, hey, maybe we're just being more responsible, right? Um, Now, some of these trigger warnings can be a variety of things. They could be stuff like, um, if you're watching a TV show, or if you're watching, yeah, a TV show or a movie, and now you might start seeing these disclaimers where they'll be like, hey, there's a whole lot of racism in this Disney movie. Just giving you a heads up. Or they'll be like, hey, there's suicide here. Just letting you know so you don't get triggered. Or they'll be like, hey, there's some domestic violence here. They will just let people know ahead of time there's going to be some crazy stuff that happens. So, um, there's been some discussion as to whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, recently I heard about there was a show on Netflix. I think it was the Reindeer show or whatever, something about a stalker and a comedian. Now, I haven't watched it yet. But I heard that the trigger warning, the disclaimer actually spoiled something that happens in the show. So I was just like, dang, that sucks if like an actual trigger warning does that. But I also, you know that like sometimes these trigger warnings can be helpful. Baby reindeer, thank you. I was thinking of reindeer games, but yeah, it was baby reindeer. Um, but sometimes, I could see how they could be helpful. But anyway, we have an actor who has some thoughts on this, on whether we should have trigger warnings or not. And it is none other than um, Matt Smith, aka Damon Targaryen from them dragons, right? Or Doctor Who for some of y'all. And he had some interesting thoughts about this. Let's see. He says here, it's okay to feel uncomfortable. No, let me go back. Let me go back because I want to get his other thing. Um, he said we should be telling morally difficult stories nowadays in particular. It's okay to feel uncomfortable or provoked while looking at a painting or watching a play, but I worry everything's being dialed and dumbed down. We're telling audiences they're going to be scared before they've watched something. Isn't being shocked, surprised, stirred the point? Too much policing of stories and being afraid to bring them out because a climate is a certain way is a shame. I'm not sure I'm on board with trigger warnings. Okay. So, um, and it says here, unlike parental guidelines like having something be rated R, TVMA, warnings of drugs or nudity, trigger warnings are usually going to be more specific. These are things like I mentioned before that will say stuff like, "Oh yeah, this is going to have, adult um assault. It might have sexual assault in there, something like that." So, um I'm a little mixed on this for a couple reasons. I mean, for one, I see his point. I see his point. If you kind of tell people like, "Hey, some bad crazy things are going to happen," that might take the edge off and people won't get surprised, startled, whatever. But I'd also say like, bro, the reason why people have these things is because some people are messed up by this stuff. And when they see that, you don't know what they're gonna be reliving. You don't know what kind of trauma they're gonna be going through. There was a movie, I forget the name of it, but it was basically so graphic and so brutal, the assault that they do on this woman, that it had people literally throwing up in the theater, walking out. So my question is like, for Matt, is that what you want? Do you want people to kind of go into a movie and not even experience the art the way that you think they will because maybe stuff is too much? Maybe it's just too much for them to handle, I know just as a kid, what movie was this? I think it was The Hills Have Eyes. When did that come out? Was that 2011 or something like that? I think it was The Hills Have Eyes for me. Yes, that was it. Stamina. Thank you for that. That was the movie I was talking about. The Hills Have Eyes. I'm going into this movie thinking, okay, it's a horror movie. I love horror. We got some messed up, Texas Chainsaw type people or whatever. And they actually have a scene that they don't cut away from. And I mean, I don't even remember how old I was. I might have been in my 20s or whatever, but I was just like, I was really messed up from seeing that. Like, I was sitting there, I was like, yo, stop. Yo, stop. I mean, and the actress was doing a wonderful job because I was sitting here like I almost like started crying because I was like, I don't want to watch this. Like, even though it's a horror, yes, even though it's rated R, I'd rather watch somebody get dismembered, cut up, chopped up, stabbed, shot. But seeing that really messed me up. So I'm not mad at trigger warnings. I don't like the idea of them spoiling the movie. I don't like that, but I am okay with them doing that. And by the way, the other thing that I'm okay with, and I'd say more so a disclaimer than anything else, I like the idea of letting people know, hey, this thing that you about to see, this Song of the South, it's racist. It has a lot of racist things in here. It's going to try and make slavery look like it's a happy, good old time. It's racist. I'm okay with that because there are people that need to know that something is racist, for example, because they already don't have the capacity to identify racism. So disclaimers for stuff like that, I'm totally on board for. I need people that can't register certain things to know what you're about to watch is something that's very problematic. I do want that. But I don't know. I think I disagree with my man here. I know where he's coming from. I think he's talking more so as an actor, because I feel like as an actor, you're probably more desensitized to things because you're able to compartmentalize your mind into not having to think about certain things so that you can get into character. First of all, mild spoiler alert. Hey, man, wasn't you the one sleeping with your mama? You was sleeping with your mama, bro. You thought we forgot about that. And you over here talking about people don't need trigger warnings? Hey, man, stop sleeping with your mama. You thought we forgot. So, Matt Smith might not be the best person to take this advice from. Just saying. But anyway, y'all let me know, what do you think about trigger warnings or disclaimers in TV shows or movies? Do you think it's helpful? Do you think it's harmful? Do you think it's unnecessary? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Some of y'all are like, what? Y'all need to watch House of the Dragon. Oh, man. Shogun, what you got? Thank you so much. They can handle trigger warnings in a series with a base warning that covers all triggers in the series. Put that before every episode so you don't know which episode has which trigger, but it will come up. I think that's fair. Now, here's the thing, like with that baby reindeer, I don't know if they did it in the specific episode. I think that is definitely spoilery, but I agree with you. Like, if you're like, hey, somewhere in here, something bad is going to happen, then okay, now that makes a little more sense. So yeah, I'm with you on that. At least to put it on the whole series, so then you don't get invested into the show. And let's just say, God forbid, but like you were a victim of assault. Maybe you just don't want to see that. Maybe you don't want to internalize stuff like that. So it makes sense that, man, you need to let me know that that's a street I don't want to walk down. That makes sense. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. All right. I think we got a couple Batman updates. So the Batman, this is Matt Reeves' Batman that we're talking about here. Um, it is still in development. It's part two. He's working on the sequel. Oh, excuse me. And his approach to the Batman is definitely something that I don't think we've really seen since Nolan's Batman, right? So Nolan gave us a very grounded Batman, and Matt Reeves has been like, I want to make this more of a detective type of, noir, LA noir type of thing, or whatnot. So we've gotten that so far with him, but he's given us a little bit more insight about the Batman part two and what we can expect from it. He says here that part two, it's going to dig into the epic story about deeper corruption, and it goes into places that Batman couldn't even anticipate in the first one. So, I guess Batman's gonna do a little digging, probably into his family, probably into stuff going on with the city, and he's gonna go down that rabbit hole, and he's gonna find out how bad it is that he couldn't anticipate. Something tells me, if I had to guess, and I'd hope that Matt Reeves would do something like this, I hope this means that Batman finally finds out that his parents were part of the Court of Owls. I don't know if we're gonna go to the Court of Owls, but I would love for them to do a Court of Owls story. And I think that this would be a perfect setting to do that. But we'll see. He has another update here, and he says the Batman universe might push to the edge of the fantastical, but we would never go into full fantastical. What was important to me was to find a way to take these pop icons, these mythic characters that everybody knows, and translate it so that Gotham feels like a place in our world. Okay. So I'm a little mixed on this, just a little mixed. Because obviously I like the fantastical when it comes to comic book characters. But I've always liked the fact that Batman, I thought, had a nice balance. Batman would have a lot of character. I mean, his arch nemesis is just a crazy dude that dresses up as a clown. Okay. You know, um, Two-Face. It's his old best friend that had a chemical accident. Now he got a split personality. All right. Like Batman just deals with mentally unstable people. Okay. Like, I mean, he's kind of crazy himself, if we being honest. So I'm okay with it being a little grounded, but Batman still lives in the DC universe. Okay. You still have Ra's al Ghul to deal with. You still have Clayface that's around. You still have some elements of fantastical, but it just sounds like Matt Reeves is like, I'm just not gonna go there. And that's fine. I respect it. I like the idea that he's gonna make this more of a detective story anyway. I feel like that was something that was never really emphasized as much in previous iterations of Batman. So I'm here for it. But anyway, you guys let me know. Do you like this approach to the Batman sequel? Do you like the fact that it's going to be another, mystery? It's going to deal with corruption and all that, and he's keeping this very grounded, and you're not going to see like superheroes flying in and nothing crazy like that. Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. Man, I've been hoping for Hush. Hush would be, I love that horror. But that's the other thing. The Hush storyline, you need so many other characters to make that work. But Hush was, I loved it. It was one of my favorite Batman stories. Speaking of Batman, I think we could stay on Batman for a second here. Let's talk about the Penguin. So the Penguin is the TV show is coming. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. So I don't know if the Penguin is something that is worth covering. If we're gonna do it every week. But if and when I can get those episodes, I'll see. Like if it's good, I'll be like, all right, y'all, we gotta go watch this. If it's not, I'm like, maybe not. But one thing that is undeniable is the fact that Colin Farrell is acting his tail off, and shout out to the makeup team because they made this man transform for sure. The trailer for it also was pretty solid. To me, it looked like another mobster gang type of TV show. But those can be interesting, right? But you have the elephant in the room, or should I say, the big bat in the room, which is where's Batman, right? You can't have these type of shows without Batman, right? Even the show Gotham, which was literally all about Gotham, all about the criminals, all about the PD and all that. Even Gotham could not get away from still showing you little Batman, little Bruce running around doing stuff. They still couldn't get away from that. Anyway, we have the creatives of the show talking about the Batman out of this. Mind your own business, bats. And this is coming from one of the showrunners. They said here, I understand why people's desire would be to have Batman, or to think that unless Batman's in the show or a film, then it doesn't have the same punch. That I must be people. I'm people. To me, I think it packs a different punch. Matt's films are through the lens of the Batman, so you're high up looking down on the city. It's a different perspective. With Oz, you're in the streets, you're in the grit and the muck and the crime. He's looking up, wanting to claw his way to the top. So as she continues, it's a different experience. I think Gotham is an interesting enough city that it deserves to have more doors unlocked within it, and for us to walk through those and see what we think. Matt Reeves says, I don't feel like it's missing something fundamental. I feel like it's an extension of what is fundamentally there. We know this is the world of Batman. Ah, ah. I mean, I know it's Batman's world, listen, because I think earlier reports had said that Batman might not show up, but Bruce Wayne will show up. Okay, that makes sense because obviously he's very influential into Gotham City. Like he has hospitals, he runs businesses, like that's his town, right? So I think that if you keep it's fine to focus on Penguin. I think that it would be helpful to at least hear about Batman. Like, hey man, did you hear Batman just broke this dude's jaw the other day? Like, I think it'd be helpful for that, and then to at least see Bruce Wayne. Because I mean, listen, unless they have a really gripping story. Now, it sounds like they're giving Penguin the Scarface treatment. It sounds like they're giving him that story of like a nothing low-level mobster who rises his way, climbs his way to the top. And I think that story, I wouldn't say it's played out, but I think we know that story. But at the same time, if it's told right, it can be entertaining. It can be good enough to watch. So if you don't have the shiny object of Batman in there, fine. I do think it raises the bar to make us, the audience, care more about this villain, Penguin. And that's the other thing I'm curious about. Are we going to like this guy? Because that's kind of the difficulty, I think, when it comes to TV shows or just movies in general. When you go and do things from the perspective of the villain, and the hero's nowhere to be seen, are you going to start to sympathize with them? Are you going to start to empathize with them? Are you going to start to root for them? Because I'm saying, like, what if Penguin turns out to be a really great character? Forget a villain or a hero. What if he's a great character? Do I want to see Batman beat him up then? I don't know. I don't know. So these are just the things that are going through my mind with this. I think it is interesting, and I give them credit for trying to be original, trying to give us something different. I respect that. But anytime you go out go out on a limb, you're also putting yourself at risk. So we'll see. Maybe it's high risk, high reward. I don't know. But you guys let me know, how do you feel about the Penguin not having Batman? What do you think? Are you excited for this show? I think it comes out in like a week or two, something like that. It's coming out soon. But will you be watching? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. All right. So we just got done talking about Dem Dragons with Matt Smith. Game of Thrones, I've said before, is probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest TV show that's ever been made. Just period. House of the Dragon is doing a fantastic job right now of being a solid follow-up spin-off show. And all of these things came from the mind of one guy. I don't know how, but he's been doing this for years. George R.R. Martin. So George R.R. Martin has been writing these Game of Thrones books for decades, just decades. While Game of Thrones had been out, this man was in the middle of writing his last book. What is it called? The Song of Ice and Fire, Dragons Fire. I don't know, whatever it is. And it was kind of a point of contention because people was like, yo, the show is moving fast. He's like, man, I'm halfway done with the book. The show is ending. The book still ain't finished. And my man was like, man, I gave them some notes, the Winds of Winter. Thank you. People waiting on the book since forever. My man, and listen, if you've seen George R.R. Martin, ever since this show popped off, my man's been at parties. He's been vacationing. He's been doing, autograph signings and pictures and cameos. He got a whole blog that he does. My man's been doing everything. So now a spinoff came out for House of the Dragon. And, while this was going on, my man had some things to say. So one of the things that he had to say here was, I do not look forward to other posts I need to write about everything that's gone wrong with the House of the Dragon, but I need to do that too. And I will, not today though, not today. Yo, why is this man choosing violence? Why is he choosing violence? So rather than getting this book done, Winds of Winter, this man want to take the time out his day to let y'all know what was wrong with House of the Dragon. By the way, season 2 is done. Ain't nobody watching this no more. It's done. Sir, have y'all ever had a project to do at school, maybe even at work, and you will find every other thing that you need to do except for the damn project? Because I feel like that's all this is for him. I feel like he got Winds of Winter right there on his desk. And he look at that and be like, you know what? I'm going to go fold some laundry. He look at the next day. He come in, look at Winds of Winter, and he be like, you know what? I'm going to repaint my roof. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go back to my bookshelf and I'm going to reorganize all these things in alphabetical order. He going to do everything except for writing this book. Who asked you, sir, about what was wrong with House of the Dragon? People out here minding their own business, watching the show, waiting for your book, and you want to talk about what's wrong with the show. So, a couple days later, he actually talked about what was wrong with the show. So, if any book readers are here, feel free to let me know if this even matters. I don't know. Says here, George R.R. Martin says, one of the biggest issues with House of the Dragon Season 2 is removing Aegon and Helena's second son, Maelor, and the butterfly effect that causes. He says there are larger and more toxic butterflies to come if House of the Dragon goes ahead, with some of the changes being contemplated for Seasons 3 and 4. Sir, is the book done? I don't care. I don't care about none of that stuff. As somebody that ain't read the books, I'm still wondering, are you done with your book? And the reason why I say this is because as a non-book reader, I have not read the Game of Thrones books. I have not read the House of the Dragon book. I don't know, right? So I'm not saying that what he's saying is not important or it's not true. Maybe the Maelor thing is very important. Maybe it is. Book readers, y'all can let me know. Maybe it is. But for us, non-book readers and the TV fans, I'm like, what I don't know ain't gonna hurt me. I'm enjoying the show right now. I didn't even know they had another kid in the books. I don't care either. Why should I care if the show never talked about him? So all I'm saying is it's okay for the book to do one thing and for the TV show to do something else. I think that's okay, because even Game of Thrones did not follow the books exactly to a T. It changed some people up. It gave them different roles. It changed up different names. I mean, as somebody watching the show, I didn't care. You know, the red wedding is the red wedding to me. I don't care if it was yellow, purple, green. It was a wedding, somewhat, you know? So anyway, oh my gosh. Like, I wish he would just go find his own business. Just go find your own business. Like, you're not right. You're not dealing with the show. Let the show cook. Let the show do whatever the show's going to do, because honestly, you don't know. Well, maybe he does know. I'm thinking, like, what if the other shows want to fill in these gaps that this show is not doing? Or maybe they just want to go in a different direction. Maybe they want to give a completely different story. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, guys, you let me know. How do you feel about George R.R. Martin not writing his own book and focusing on the problems of House of the Dragon? For those of y'all that are book readers, try not to spoil it here, but is this Maelor thing really that big of a deal? But let me be more specific. Is it a big enough deal that people that have not watched or read the books, like myself, am I going to care? Is this something that I'm really going to care about because they did not add this or not? Matter of fact, I'll give a slight example. Return of the King. I was reading Return of the King, I read the Hobbit series, Lord of the Rings, Twin Towers, all of that stuff, right? One of my biggest issues with the Lord of the Rings trilogy was that they told you from the jump the identity of Aragorn. They told you from the jump who he was. But as a book reader, we went through 3 thick books and knowing this man only as Strider. And we had no idea who this guy really was until the last book. So when I saw the movie, I was like, yo, why would you spoil the big reveal? But then I started to talk to people who hadn't read the books, and it was like, so? That was like, so? Like, Aragorn's Aragorn. So? I don't care what they call that man Strider or not. I know who he is. I was just like, you guys missed the big thing. But they didn't care. They still enjoyed the movie. So I don't know. I feel like it's fine the way it is, but I don't know. Book readers, y'all let me know if it's something different in the comments down below. All right. Didier, what you got, man? Man, adaptations are never going to be 100%, 100% of the original text. Actors and directors bring different dynamics to the characters. George needs to chill. Totally agree. Now I get it. If anybody's going to be irritated or pissed off, I totally understand. If it's going to be anybody, it's going to be the actual head writer. It's going to be the head creator who's gonna have an issue. So I understand if anybody was gonna have a problem, it would be him. I do get that. Let's talk about Marvel TV. So Marvel TV, we got a couple things going. We have some news here about uh Daredevil and a lot of other TV shows that are coming up. Agatha is coming up. By the way, are y'all interested in Agatha? I don't know. Like, is that something we're gonna cover? I haven't heard nobody talking about it. I don't know. And listen, not to put a certain studio on blast, but if you only gonna give me screeners the week of, are you really confident in your series? Could be a little red flag there, huh? Yeah, little red flag. Yeah, you giving me the screeners late? Don't want people to see it ahead of time? Hmm? Yeah, okay. We have Brad Winderbaum, who is the head of Marvel TV animation and streaming. Oh, and we're gonna get into him later. And he had some things to tell us about some updates for what we can expect on Marvel TV shows. Let's see. One of the things that he wanted to talk about was Daredevil. And he said here, I'll tell you, some of the most brutal action we've ever brought to the screen is coming in Daredevil Born Again, which isn't a horror show, but really it packs a lot of power and there's a lot of visceral action, to say the least. Ooh, and they got the shiny eyed, mean looking Daredevil. I like it. Now, listen, I told y'all this before. When I went to D23, I was able to see like some of the little extended trailer footage. Out of all the things that they showed me, out of all of the things they showed me, um, Daredevil was like the best that I saw. I mean, I saw footage for Captain America, nah. Ironheart, a little bit for Agatha. I mean, some of those little thunderbolts, yeah. But Daredevil, that looked legit. Daredevil, they had my man being mean out in them streets. So I don't know who pissed him off. But the violence and all that stuff, I agree. And I believe that there was also a rumor or an article that also said that hallway scene that we all know, the hallway scene. We know what that is. They got something else in there. So they're saying that I don't know if it's gonna be another hallway scene, but they gonna do something that's gonna be reminiscent of the hallway scene. So we'll see. Now keep in mind that Daredevil Born Again is it Born Again or Born Again. This is going to be made by it was going to be made by the Marvel Studios folks, but they was like, nah, man, we can't do the TV shows the way that we used to. They brought the showrunners from the Punisher Netflix series to come in and to basically keep that same Netflix energy from the old series. Okay, so that's what they're kind of doing with this. But he went on to say something a little interesting here. Let's see what else he said. He said, I think it goes back to the filmmaker's intent. The horror on screen in Agatha is to be different than the horror on screen in Marvel Zombies is going to be different than the horror on screen in Blade. It was different than the horror on screen in Moon Knight. It really depends on the vision of the filmmaker and what horror cues you're pulling from. And that's not just unique to horror, it's unique to any genre we're playing with. Sir, you had my attention at Blade. So y'all gonna make that a horror film? Because, sounds like you need a horror director. I mean, Jordan Peele is sitting right there. Just saying, if you want some horror in your Blade movie, Jordan Peele kind of sort of makes sense. Put him in that mix. Just saying. Just saying. But anyway, what do you guys think about what he had to say for these Marvel TV shows? Are these things that get you excited for it? Are you interested in what Marvel has coming up? I'll be honest, I'm still a little lukewarm on most things coming from Marvel. I'm probably not going to get very excited until we get. Sheesh. Not excited for Fantastic Four. Um, Trying to think of what else I could be excited for. Might be excited for. I think it's really just Secret Wars. Like once we get to Secret Wars, when we get to was it Doomsday? That is probably when I'll be like, okay, now we're cooking. Now we'll go ahead and really do some things that will really turn up, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, let me get these other things here for you. I missed a couple other things. Let me get this for you guys real quick. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me pull this up because I feel like this would be kind of interesting. I don't know why I didn't have this before. Okay. All right. Got that. Got that. Ooh, I got to make a video on that. Okay. Make sure there's no more juicy things. I feel like we could talk about rumors. But there was one more that I saw that I want to get for y'all. Oh, okay. Oh, I know y'all gonna like this one. Okay, let me get that too. Okay. Nope, don't care. Nope. Don't care. Okay. Okay. One more second, guys. One more second. I'm just getting all these little rumors collected for y'all because I feel like this would be pretty interesting. Oh, really? Yeah. No, it's not reliable. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I just wanted to get these up here because I feel like these would be kind of fun to talk about. Because we got some Blade updates and rumors and more. Okay. All right. All right. Sorry, I just wanted to add an impromptu topic. Let's put this into. All right. Let's go to the rumor mill. So, just as a heads up, so that you know, these are rumors. So these are not things that you need to run to the bank with. These are not things that we need to readily believe. Some of these are a little sketchy. Some of them come from more than reliable places. But I just thought that it'd be fun to kind of talk about them, just entertain them a little bit. But this is nothing that we need to put a whole lot of stock in. So make sure you hold on to your grains of salt. So here's one of them that comes out, and it says that Marvel Studios reportedly wants to use Charlie Cox's Daredevil as a gateway to new stories for the street heroes, superheroes in the MCU. There are ideas for Matt to interact with other heroes like Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight and Florence Pugh's Yelena Belova. Okay, listen, this I could see happening. This I would not mind. And it makes sense from a business perspective, because if we're thinking about all the different TV shows that Marvel has, Daredevil is probably going to be the most popular. That's the main one that I think will probably have the most legs under it, and the most cachet. So I do think that that is possible. I do think that that is interesting. And it could be a good way. I mean, think about it, how Punisher, they kind of slid Punisher in there, and then it was like, oh, Punisher gets his own show. Um I'm curious to see how Moon Knight and Daredevil could interact, because, obviously Moon Knight deals with the more spiritual stuff, but Daredevil has also kind of dealt with that with the hand, just a little bit. So that would be kind of intriguing to see those two cross paths. And we've already seen Daredevil cross paths with Spider-Man, as well. So I would hope that that would be something that they do. But we do have some Blade rumors. Let's see, and this one comes from Daniel RPK. So some of the Blade rumors here says that Marvel Studios will reportedly decide on the fate of Blade and Armor Wars in the coming months. First of all, what the hell do you mean, the fate? The only fate that should be determined for Blade is get it done. That's it. And we're going to talk about Armor Wars in a moment. We're going to talk about that later. But the only thing I need for them to talk about when it comes to Blade is, this is how it's going to get done. This is when it's going to get done. I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing else. Because, man, if Marvel cancels Blade, I'm going to be so pissed off. Pissed off. Because even though I have said you can literally do it with Mahershala Ali and Wesley Snipes, and let's just say, because some people are saying, Mahershala don't want to do it, he gonna drop out. Let's say, and I hope that's not the case, but let's say he did drop out. If he did, I'd still want y'all to at least do a movie with Wesley. At least, now I'm still pro recast. Let's get some young blood in there. Somebody that can, that Wesley can pass the torch to, and let's build these legacies. I'm still fully in support of that. But all I'm saying is, don't throw this away, because you dangled that carrot in front of us. Y'all the ones that put that hat on this man. You gave that man the hat and everything. Don't you cancel Blade. Don't do it. But in a little bit more promising update, rumor, this comes from the Snyder. Marvel Studios is talking to a specific director for the Blade film. Listen, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Now, clearly they don't want to say who the director is, but that lets me know that a specific director is definitely a name brand director. We're not doing it's this dude from this TV show from nah. Just get Jordan Peele in here. Let's just do it. Go big or go home. Let's just do it. Put a little money. You already gonna go low budget with the movie. Pay a name brand director. We are going to show up. I know this I feel it in my heart and soul. We are going to show up. If you tell me Jordan Peele, Mahershala Ali, hell, Wesley Snipes, we not showing up? Come on now. I know I'm showing up. Watch party on deck, all of that. Now we have this also, another one. The Blade film could be released after Avengers Secret Wars. which means Secret Wars ain't until 2027. 3 years? 4 years? Why I gotta wait like 4 5 years for another Blade movie? That to me would be an epic failure on Marvel, in my opinion. I know movies, there's a lot that goes into it. I know that. I know that sometimes things don't work out. But damn it, I ain't never heard of one movie that doesn't have the amount of stakes or hurdles compared to Avatar. Avatar took 30 years for them to make that. Why? Because James Cameron want to do some special crazy things with the camera and want to do the lighting and the 3D and the blue people and all that stuff. And listen, it was worth the wait. My man only dropped like $2 billion movies. It worked. But I'm saying that's not what we're dealing with here with Blade. Blade is a simple movie to make. You got a black vampire hunter that chases after vampires. How is this not a movie that get made in like 6 to 8 months? How? What do you need? What could you possibly have to do with the story? What could you possibly have to do that makes this something that needs to come out after Secret Wars? Now I get it. Everything, in my opinion, if Avengers Secret Wars is similar to the comics where we might get a soft reboot, maybe if it goes that route, I totally understand that. Yeah, that's where you're going to want to have the new established characters to continue. I get that. Is that not why we got Mahershala Ali? Like, we didn't get him so that he could be the next Blade for the next couple of years? Unless y'all really gonna recast and get another Blade. Because at that point, I'd be like, thank you for wasting this man's time. Anyway. We got one more rumor. And this has to do with, what is it? The Defenders. Marvel Studios reportedly wants Kristen Ritter, Mike Coulter, and Finn Jones to return as Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. All I will say is, I have one question. Has Finn Jones been training? I don't care what Marvel wants. I don't care what Marvel likes. I don't care what they think. I just want to know, has Finn Jones been training? I think that's a fair, easy question. Because have we not gone through this man's pages, gone through his stories and all that stuff? Like, all I see this man do is party and go camping. I ain't seen this man throw one punch. I ain't seen him lift no weights. I ain't seen him throw no kicks. Like, what? Has Finn Jones been training? I've seen Mike Coulter. You know, now Mike Coulter swole. My man swole. Listen, even in the show Evil, you know, my man still, you know, he still got it. Kristen Ritter, I mean, we don't need to see her do nothing. She's Jessica Jones. She's fine. I need to know if this man Finn Jones, who claims to be the immortal Iron Fist, who ain't immortal that much, has been training in the gym. That's the only rumor I need to see. Where the rumors at? Whoever got these the number of the rumor peoples, do y'all digging and let me know. Has Finn Jones been training? If he hasn't been training, Marvel lose his number. Lose it. I'm not dealing with this no more. These are shenanigans. These are shenanigans. No. Anyway, guys, what do you think about these Marvel rumors? How do you feel about them? We got some Blade updates, some nonsense with Iron Fist. And Daredevil could be the gateway for everything that we get, for the street level heroes and stuff. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. What you got? Ali has already made his decision to chase dinosaurs instead of vampires. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, listen, I'm glad this man is making money, right? Like, he's already been sitting down for multiple years. The fact that Jurassic Park is about to be his first live action movie since 2019, 5 years. Come on, man. Yeah, my man said, forget them vampires. Let me go chase these velociraptors. Rhonda, what you got? Booking a flight as soon as you announce the Blade watch party. Stop playing with a Blade. I mean, damn, come on. They need to stop. Recast Finn Jones, please. First of all, Rhonda, were you at the Black Panther party? I don't remember. I think you were there. I think you came to the Black Panther watch party. Listen, that Blade, listen, we're gonna have some techno music, boom, 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 boom. We're gonna have some, we're gonna have some Blade fun at this watch party. Okay, we're gonna have some fun. Yes, okay, you were there. I do remember, because I know you was at one of them. Yo, this Blade watch party is going to be off the chain. We all dressing in black. Okay, black and red. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so dope. It's gonna be so dope. So dope. Oh my gosh. You get me excited already for that. That's gonna be a good watch party. I'm gonna be so mad if Marvel missed that. Marvel just don't want money. They just don't want the money. I don't get it. I don't get it. Quiet One, what you got? Secret Wars needs a black vampire hunter in it. The Blade anticipation equals emotional damage, and hell no to Finn Jones' return. Hail to the no. Just disgusting. Thank you so much for that, Quiet War. Yeah, and I agree. Put Blade in there. First of all, you can never go wrong adding Blade in anything. No, Zia, why are you choosing violence? Don't do this. Please. I'm gonna be too old at that point. I'm gonna be like, hey, y'all watch that stuff later. Y'all leave. I don't know. All right. Talked about it earlier, but we have to talk about Armor Wars. So Armor Wars was announced, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was back in 2022. Somebody could double check me on that. But I want to say it was 2022 where Marvel announced this. Okay, so I want to be very clear about this. This isn't something that the rumors talked about online. This isn't something that the big outlets was like, hey, reportedly Armor War. No. This was something that was happening. That Marvel themselves, I want to say it was the D23 or something like that. They told us Armor Wars was coming. Okay. Matter of fact, look at the logo. Look at the logo. They even had a logo. If they got an official logo, it's real, right? They told us Don Cheadle was coming. He was going to have his own show, all of that good stuff. Then, not only that, But we got some news later, not from Marvel, but at least from a big outlet. I think Hollywood Reporter or somebody. They said, hey, Armor Wars is no longer going to be a TV show. We're actually going to turn this into a movie. I said, whoa, okay. Now listen, between you and me, okay, just come here a little bit. I don't think Armor Wars needs to be a movie. If we're being honest, I don't think it needs to be a movie. But I'm not going to hold this black man down. So if they're going to give this brother a movie, I'm with it. Fine, because I'm rooting for everybody black. But we still don't need no Armor Wars movie. Just saying. Just saying. So if it is all the way from 2022, we have to think about what happened in between that time. Because the one thing that has been the case, and I'm going to put this on some of my colleagues. Yes, I'm talking to some of my press colleagues right now. I'm calling y'all out, you know, and this is only because I nerd out on this stuff. Y'all had a lot of time to talk to Kevin Feige. Y'all had a lot of time to talk to Brad Winderbaum. Y'all had some time probably to talk to Don Cheadle. Not one of y'all asked them about Armor Wars. Nobody? Nobody asked? Let me tell you something. Marvel had a whole D23. They went to Comic-Con and not one word about what's going on with Armor Wars. Not one. I'm not even asking for like full details. And I'm just something. Nobody said nothing. I mean, I'm just saying, maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. I didn't see no headlines, no nothing. Either way. It looks like we finally have something. We finally got a little something about what's going on with Armor Wars. And you know, it's funny because I actually got a chance to talk to Don Cheadle a couple years ago, and it was right when the news came out that he was going to have it be a movie, and I told him congratulations, you know, because I was rooting for him. But he's very good about this, right? He's like, you know, thanks a lot, you know, but I don't, you know, not gonna talk about nothing. Okay, cool, no problem, no press, fine. But it looks like we finally got something. I don't even know if I want to call it official, kind of official, but I feel like this is the first time in public we're hearing about Armor Wars. And that is when Don Cheadle was out here. Let me get this layout right. Where did I get this? No, it's too big, too little. And does this work? Yeah, okay, that works. All right. Don Cheadle actually sat down with what is that? Good Morning America or whatever. I don't know. And they asked him, "What do you think? Like, what's up with Armor Wars? What are we doing? What's happening?" So I figured we might as well play this clip, but of course we got to get ready. I want to hear from Don Cheadle himself. What's the deal with Armor Wars? This was the Today Show. Thank you. I don't watch these things, so I don't know. But here's what he had to say about the status of Armor Wars.
Anything you can tell us about Armor Wars, the next Marvel?
What's Armor Wars?
Oh, come on.
Listen, it's the line, you know, I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you. And I just met you guys. I don't want to do that.
Right.
So that was it. That was it. My man had to give us the standard Marvel answer, which is what's Armor Wars. So there's not much to go off of from that. There's not much. But because your boy speaks a little Marvelese, you know, I also speak a little Feige-nese as well. He learned his Marvel lines from Feige. Y'all know that, right? What his non-answer tells me is obviously he can't talk about it. Obviously. But what I do know is that if y'all go back to some of Don Cheadle's interviews for Infinity War, y'all remember when he did that interview with Mark Ruffalo? And Mark Ruffalo literally spoiled the movie. And Don Cheadle was like, man, what the hell? What is wrong? What is wrong? Hey, man, be quiet. Like, spoil the movie. But Don Cheadle knows what he can talk about and what he can't talk about. The fact that he can't or is, I mean, obviously he was joking here, right? But I think the fact that he's even unable to confirm that Armor Wars is a thing, that in itself is a red flag. And we just read that rumor about how in the coming months, Marvel's going to decide the fate of Armor Wars. I don't like this. I don't like it. Now, let me also put something out there. And for anyone here that's new, trigger warning. Not too long ago, we had a story about how, well, let's go back even further. Ike Perlmutter. Ike Perlmutter had been with Marvel from the early get-go, and there was a whole back and forth with him and Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige was literally ready to just quit Marvel and leave, mainly because Ike Perlmutter was like, man, listen, I don't want to see all these women around here. Black Panther, hell nah. That ain't gonna sell. Bob Iger, who, you know, came in via Disney, was like, Ike, shut the hell up. Feige, we gonna let you cook. He made Captain Marvel, made $1 billion. Yeah. Then he also made Black Panther, 1.3 billion. Mwah, chef's kiss. Fast forward to what, earlier this year, last year, whatever. You had a man named Nelson Peltz. Nelson Peltz was one of those investors in Disney. And one of the things he was trying to do was he wanted to be one of the chairmen on the Disney board. There was this whole election vote that they had to do, real succession type stuff. And some of Nelson's comments made it out in the outlets and in the news. And Nelson was kind of like, yo, why we gotta have all these women's? Why are all these why are the blacks getting all these, you know, movies and stuff? Why do we need to have that? And he questioned a lot of the decision making that Disney/Marvel was making. Now, think about this. I personally believe that he was saying the quiet stuff out loud. Think about the time frame. This was around the time where Marvel was taking loss after loss after loss. They were not hitting a strong stride. This is around the tail end of phase 4, right? So in Nelson Peltz's eyes, he looked at it as all that diversity, all that inclusion, all the women's and the blacks. Y'all are hurting us. We should not focus on that. Now, Nelson Peltz got kicked out. He didn't get voted in. He left, divested. I think he was good friends with Ike Perlmutter. He also was like, all right, cool, whatever. But you started to see a shift with the direction of Disney. Now, I'm not saying that these are a direct correlation, but I'm not going to disregard the fact that you started to hear Bob Iger say some of the same things that Nelson Peltz said. Now, Bob Iger didn't say everything that Nelson said, but he did say, for example, Nelson Peltz said, y'all got to slow down. We can't keep making all these movies every year, keep making all these sequels or whatever. Now, he also said that comment about the blacks and the women, but then Bob Iger also came out and was like, hey, we got to slow down. We can't be making all these sequels and all these other spinoffs and all this stuff. We got to slow down. I personally believe, this is just my opinion, that Bob Iger listened. He heard. And it was probably very hard for him to ignore what Nelson Peltz was saying. Keep in mind, this is right around the time where Captain Marvel, the sequel, The Marvels, failed, bombed hard in the box office. And Bob Iger, who I believe is a smarter guy with his communication compared to a Nelson Peltz, he's not going to say the quiet part out loud. Bob Iger came out and was like, we're going to focus on more relatable titles and themes and topics and stuff like that. More relatable to me translates to, we're not going to give you those things that are hyper focused on specific genders, races, ethnicities, cultures that everybody can relate to. And if I had to translate that into PR talk, because when I talk about PR talk, they talk in a different language. And I've told y'all this story before. When I first got started as a critic, I was approached as, oh, here's urban content. We'll get you the urban films. And I was like, urban? Like, you mean black? Like they couldn't say that, but that's what urban meant. And I told him, I was like, no, I review movies of all kinds. Like, I don't only talk about black movies. Like, I will, but that's not all I do. And they were like, oh, you mean general content? And I was like, oh, general? You mean white? Like, is that what you mean? So general is all. Okay, I need y'all to kind of see like the little sprinkle of racism in there. General, everybody really just means white versus urban, Latino, gay, LGBTQ, whatever. But general is everybody white. So I kind of took what he was speaking and saying as a dog whistle of, I'm not going to say that dumb stuff that Nelson Peltz said, but he ain't wrong. So what does that mean? That means if you're going to refocus on things that are for general audiences and more relatable, are you really about to give this man a whole show or a movie at that? I mean, hey guys, they already gave you a Black Panther. They already gave you a Captain America that is a black man. What more could you want? You want more? So I feel like Don Cheadle not even acknowledging that Armor Wars is even a reality is not a good sign. Even though he was joking, even though, he was saying this in jest or whatever, I still think that that's not a good sign. And it sounds like Armor Wars is probably on the chopping block. Again, I don't think we need it, but I don't like that it's something that was promised publicly by Marvel, featuring a talented Black actor, and it's probably not going to happen. I don't like that. Those combinations I don't like. But you guys let me know. How did you what Don Cheadle said but didn't say? How do you feel about the state of Armor Wars? Is this something that you still want to see? Is this something that you're interested in? Or I don't know, maybe you think it is a good idea that they're passing it up. Maybe this is a potential L that Marvel just is avoiding. Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. JN, outside of Ryan Coogler, Marvel drops the ball with each and every project involving Black leads. Maybe. I think we need to wait and see what happens with Ironheart. She is a Black lead. We do need to wait and see if Captain America 4, y'all movie, if that's going to be a bad movie. That is a Black lead. And we're going to have to wait and see what happens with Wonder Man. Like, you know, we have to wait and see. Because even if Blade is in production hell, if they make Blade and it's amazing, nobody's going to keep that same energy, right? If Armor Wars fails to be made, is it really a big loss? I don't know. Maybe the story wasn't strong enough. I don't know. So I'm in wait and see mode. I'd like to see when y'all actually put the product out there. Is it actually good? Is it worth it? Or do y'all actually fail? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much, Jan. Let's see. JN says, I think Blade is a no-go per those Iger comments. It's possible, but the only thing I would say is that given the reaction people had to Wesley Snipes' Blade, I'm kind of thinking that it'd be hard for them to ignore that. And not to mention, and I hate to say it, but it's true, he's getting a nice white push from Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds he's got a lot of cachet now in Marvel because he's riding off of a nice high wave of $1 billion movie, you know, that was a necessary win for Marvel. Marvel needed Deadpool to restore a little bit of confidence. And the fact that Ryan Reynolds, by the way, he's going out of his way to push specifically for Wesley Snipes' Blade to get that little send off and so on. I think that will carry some weight, and it might make it harder for Bob Iger or anybody else not to move on with Blade. I think it'll make it harder for them. Quiet one. Honestly, E-Man, Armor Wars makes more sense to come out after Secret Wars and not Blade, to unpack what has been going on with Stark Tech and aftermath of Secret Wars. So I kind of think that, like, I think the ship has sailed, you know, because I feel like if they're going to do anything dealing with Tony Stark's weapons and all this stuff, I need to see that before Secret Wars. Give that to me before, because again, if Secret Wars is going to be a way for them to kind of reboot and restart different things, let all the chaos and madness stuff happen now. And then maybe in the reboot, maybe you get a new Tony Stark. Maybe you have a new world where, like, there's a different Iron Man. I don't know, you know, and maybe you won't need Armor Wars at that point, but at least now you have potential Armor Wars, and you have Captain America to kind of sort of deal with that stuff too. So I feel like before Secret Wars would be better, just to deal with a lot of the chaos and stuff going on. Nelson, what you got? My theory is Rhodey will be in Vision Quest. Yeah, sure, maybe. maybe if Vision Quest is even a thing, if that even continues, we don't know if that's going to be a thing. So we'll have to wait and see on that. All right, moving on, we have the Acolyte. Woo-wee! So the Acolyte, y'all, we covered it here. It was a struggle. Y'all know I'm not gonna lie about that, but the Acolyte, I was super excited. This was the one Star Wars show I was like, yo, I can't wait. You told me it's Kill Bill meets Frozen. You hyped up this big old mystery. It's the rise of the Sith and all this good stuff. Boy, I was sitting there like, give me some of that Acolyte. And then they gave me some of that Acolyte. And I was like, what are we doing? What is this? It just didn't work. Right? So either way, the Acolyte season 1, it got canceled. Right? They canceled the Acolyte. And even though they canceled it, you know, in my last video, I think I tried to make the case that maybe, just maybe, the show deserves a second chance, right? Because at the end of the day, you still put out a show that asked a lot of questions. It opened up a lot of possibilities, and I feel as though in the effort not to waste our time, you might as well give the show a second chance. But you're gonna have to change up the showrunner. You're gonna have to change up the writer. You're gonna have to bring a new team in there. You have to do that. That's not unheard of. We've seen movie franchises like Thor have bad stuff, and then all of a sudden a new director, boom, we're back on board, right? In Thor Ragnarok. TV shows can have the same thing, bad season, but a good season with a good writer, everything can change. So I'm still okay with the idea knowing that season 1 was not a winner. Had some good moments, great lightsaber fight scenes, and you know, Manny, who played you know, the Sith guy, like great, but the story overall just did not work. I think you could still salvage it that way. But we have the main star of the show, Amandla Stenberg, and she said a couple things in a very lengthy video on I believe it was on her Instagram. And she commented on the cancellation of the show. So let's kind of go through some of the things that she said here about this and give some thoughts on it. She says, I'm going to be transparent and say that it's not a huge shock for me. Of course, I was in the bubble of my own reality, but for those who weren't aware, there's been a rampage of vitriol that we faced since the show was even announced, when it was still just a concept and no one had even seen it. And that's when we started experiencing a rampage of, I would say, hyper conservative bigotry and vitriol, prejudice, hatred, and hateful language towards us. And this really affected me when I first got the job, because it's not something you can fully understand what it feels like until it's happening to you. Oh my goodness. Does this or does this not sound so familiar? Stop me if you've heard this before. Minority actor in Star Wars faces negativity online. Old girl that played Rose, I forget her name, I'm sorry. Amandla, Moses Ingram, like, you know, and it's not just them, like even the little kid that played Luke or whatever, you know, like that happened. John Boyega, you know, like this is a recurring theme. It's a recurring theme with online fandom, specifically with Star Wars, just so happening to find issues when it comes to minorities in Star Wars projects. Now, does that mean every minority? No. They don't have a problem with the background minority characters. Like I need to point that out to people. Y'all don't have a problem with the ones that know their place and say a couple lines here and there and give you partial representation. Y'all don't have a problem. Some people don't have a problem with that. Now, I'm trying to be specific with my words because I noticed that a lot of these people that have issues mince up words. I'm not saying every single Star Wars fan has this issue. I'm saying the ones that do have this issue have that issue. Okay? So it's not everybody. It's not only a certain group. I'm saying the people that go out of their way to point at wokeism, women, minorities, sexual orientations, y'all that use that as the lead of your criticism, that's the people we're talking about. Now, she was absolutely right that before this show came out, you already started to see some of the vitriol poke its rear head, its ugly head online. You already started to see people say, oh my gosh, it's woke. Oh my gosh, they got witches. Oh my gosh, the witches are together and the ladies, like as if we didn't know witches and women are the same thing in these type of stories. Like, what are y'all talking about? Anyway, she was right. She was right about the hyper conservative, channels that were bolstering this stuff and bolstering the attacks. And a lot of it was unwarranted. Now, let me be clear. Attacking a show before you've seen it is unwarranted, especially if you don't know the context, right? Now, obviously, there are moments where something will portray itself one way, and that can be enough to turn people off. I'll give you an example, like The Good Times, right? The Good Times animated show. They showed us everything that we did not need to see. They showed us black folks that was extra ghetto, making stupid jokes and all that. It was like, okay, we don't need to see this. And we didn't. And Netflix buried it. But for this show, nobody knew anything. All we saw was some lightsabers. We saw a girl doing ninja moves. And that's it. That's all we had to go off of. And some people was like, that's enough to hate this. Not warranted. Now it's different once we get into the actual show. Okay, now you can have some criticism. That's very different. Very different. She goes on here. And I'll go here. It says here, Steinberg finished by talking about what they felt drove some of the divisiveness that impacted the Acolyte, chalking it up to echo chambers of thought and algorithms that reinforce our biases. They challenged viewers to continue questioning what it is they watch and to think critically about what shapes it. I will absolutely agree with that 1000%. I cannot tell you how many times I've interacted with Star Wars fans who will quote to me or point me in the direction of other popular YouTubers that just so happen to all talk about and think the same way. And for whatever reason, these Star Wars fans can't even realize that they are stuck in an echo chamber and that they're only listening to one side of the argument. And that, yes, you might agree with them, but you're still stuck in the echo chamber of confirmation bias. So what a lot of people don't understand nowadays, and I like the fact that she said you need to think critically, is that whether it's politics, whether it's, entertainment, social media is only going to give back to you what you give it. If you keep on clicking on kittens playing with yarn balls, you don't think your timeline is going to be full of kittens playing with yarn balls? Same way, If all you do is watch videos of people hating on certain things of Star Wars, you don't think the algorithm's going to say, hey, we notice you like hating on Star Wars. Here's some more. That's how it works. You have to realize at some point, whatever it is you're consuming, if it sounds too much alike, if it sounds too similar, maybe you're stuck in an echo chamber. And I encourage this for people even with political stuff. Personally, I watch all the news outlets. I have my own opinions, of course, but I watch the conservative stuff and I watch the far left stuff because I like to know there's something in the middle that both of y'all are missing. And I want to see them both. Same thing here with entertainment. If you're watching, somebody that's pro this, watch somebody that's not, just so you can get a flavor, just so that you're not stuck. Because that's clearly what happened with a lot of these fans that watched the Acolyte and tore this thing to pieces. And this is my biggest issue, and I'll wrap with this. The biggest problem that I have, and I totally agree with Amandla here, the biggest problem I have is the fact that because you had all these pre-haters, it blurs the criticism and it blurs the lines of people with actual criticisms. Because what I don't like about this now is the fact that because all those pre-haters were so loud, they didn't give this show the opportunity to just fail on its own. Y'all could have just been quiet and y'all could have just let this show fail on its own. And then later on, you could have been like, okay, hey, maybe I told you so, whatever. But the problem is now people can't figure out or identify that maybe the show actually did have problems. I highly doubt someone like Amandla now is going to look at the show and be like, you know what? Maybe there was a pacing issue. You know what? Maybe the characters didn't develop all that well. Oh, you know what? Maybe this part wasn't effectively shot. All of the legit criticisms are going to be thrown away and disregarded by the pre-haters, or B, they're not even going to be listened to because the people closest to the projects are going to just assume, well, if you didn't like the show, you probably were with these other haters as well. I don't like that. This is why I don't like people criticizing things ahead of time like that. I wish people would have just watched the show. And if you don't like it, that's cool. Talk about what in the show you don't like and then just move on. Let the show fail on its own. Rings of Power. We were just talking about Rings of Power. I can't tell you if the second season is good or not, but I can tell you the viewing numbers are down. That's a red flag. That's a problem. If that continues, that lets people know, and the studio, maybe you just don't have a good product. But imagine if a lot of people were, they were pre-hating on, Rings of Power. How can you have a black elf? Elves can't be black. What is this? Well, now are they really going to take the time to figure out, man, maybe the writing wasn't good. Man, maybe the acting wasn't good. You're not if you're going to have all that pre-hating be so loud. So y'all got to chill on that stuff, man. Let things fail on their own. If it's bad, people will stop watching. If people stop watching, the shows will cancel themselves. They just won't go nowhere. We don't need y'all certain YouTube channels and certain loud people on Twitter or whatever. We don't need y'all to be voicing. I'm not saying you shouldn't. You have the right to say what you want to say. I'm saying we don't need it. Because if a show is bad, it'll die on its own. Anyway, that's all I got for that Acolyte situation. Y'all let me know, how did you feel about Amandla's response? How did you feel about what she had to say? Was she right? Did you agree with her? Did you disagree with her? Whatever you thought, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. McSneezy. I'm just saying. You know you got 20 more left in you. I don't see not a Claritin and nothing popped in. Sheesh. I ain't gonna lie, that allergy season kicked my butt too earlier, man. I was sneezing like 10 times in a row. Kicked my tail. What we got here? Quiet one. As a Star Wars fan, the fandom has become so toxic and hate content at the mere announcement of new content and characters. They're doing it already with Skeleton Crew. And that's sad. Because Skeleton Crew, ain't that about kids? Are they hating on kids? Uh-huh. Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, thank you. Yo, but like that is definitely a problem. Like, why are you sitting here hating on stuff before? It's like, why can't you allow people to just have good things? Oh my God. Jesus. She does this all the time. Usually, if it ain't allergy season, it's 3 sneezes. I can deal with the 3. She got 24 left. I gotta sleep with that. Oh, Jesus. Y'all ever know what when you sneeze in a room and you could smell the sneeze, spit and all that in the air? Anyway, all right. But yes, quiet one. I agree with you that it is messed up. And I'm not gonna say all the fandom, because they get triggered by that. But for the ones that it does apply to, it is problematic. It is problematic when you have people actively being negative on things that are not justified. And I've tried to tell people this too. If you hate on everything, if you're loudly criticizing everything, your criticisms are going to start to fall on deaf ears. They're going to start to lose their impact. So if all I said was, oh, Marvel hates this, oh, Marvel's bad at this, Marvel's bad at that, then when are you ever going to listen to me about anything Marvel? Because you're just going to say, E-Man's a Marvel hater. If all I do is hate on everything Star Wars, when am I ever going to have an opinion that is going to have some merit that's not going to label me as just a hater? This is why I tell y'all it's good to have balance. Personally, and I know people can do whatever they want, I don't like one-sided opinions. I don't like people that hate on everything or people that love on only everything. Like, I need some balance. I need to know, man, okay, you might love a lot of DC things, but ain't no way you're going to sit here and tell me that Batman v Superman was a great movie. Ain't no way. You can love DC, but you cannot sit here and tell me that Joss Whedon's Justice League was a good movie. It's hard for me to take you seriously, right? So anyway, are we almost done? I think we are. I'm trying to think of which one do we want to do. Do we want to do? Y'all want to do Beau DeMayo, or do we want to do Green Lantern? I'm totally missing this football game. I'm so mad. I gotta watch the replay. I hope I can watch the replay. I'm trying not to look at the stats or anything. Don't nobody tell me what happens. Let's see what y'all want to do. Green Lantern? Okay, we can do Green Lantern. That's fine. All right. So, speaking of DC, Green Lantern. Now, in case you did not know, ever since James Gunn took over the reins at DC or DC Studios, he made his announcement for the first chapter of Gods and Monsters. And in that announcement, he said that we were going to get a new TV series, and that was going to be The Lanterns, right? Now, The Lanterns has my attention. You have Damon Lindelof also being a showrunner on there. And he was the one that gave us The Watchmen on HBO, which, again, you should go watch. So I'm here for whatever they want to give us with the Lanterns. Now, in the Lanterns, they are saying that this is going to have, it's going to be a co-lead. So you're going to have John Stewart, you know, and then you will also have the other Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, two of the best, you know, Green Lanterns out there, right? So the question is, who are you going to get to play the roles? Now, we'll have time to talk about John Stewart. We'll have time to do that. We don't have to do that right now. There's a long list of excellent actors that can play that role, and I'm sure you guys can think of those very easily. But the question right now, the topic for this video is more so about who's going to play Hal Jordan, mainly because the rumors, the internet streets have been talking about who is in the running right now to play Hal Jordan. Now, in case you did not know, Hal Jordan was probably one of the main, most recognizable Green Lanterns in DC history. I don't believe he was like the first one. I forget the guy's name. But he is probably one of the most popular ones to play that role, or to play he's the most popular character. But in this latest reporting, and again, take this with a grain of salt, as big as you like, but they're saying that the person that's going to be Hal Jordan is none other than Josh Brolin. That's right. My man Thanos, my man Cable, they talking about he is, I assume, the front runner right now to play Hal Jordan. Okay. It says here that we have exclusively learned that Josh Brolin has been offered the role of Green Lantern Hal Jordan in DC Studios' HBO series Lanterns. This version of the character is described as a Lantern legend and will be a veteran member of the Corps. White actors in their 40s and 50s were being looked at for this role until it was determined that Brolin was the top choice for the role of Hal Jordan. Another website or leaker, DCU Leaks, exclusively reported over a year ago that Hal Jordan will be a veteran Lantern and John Stewart would be a rookie. So I think the most obvious thing here is, even if you want to make him a veteran, even if you want to make him like a you know, an experienced Green Lantern, my man's old. Let's just be clear. Josh Brolin is a fantastic actor. My man did his thing as Cable in Deadpool 2. He obviously did a fantastic job as Thanos in the Infinity War saga. But my man is old. Like he really looks like he's ready to retire already. I mean, I'm just saying, like, why? So, especially, can we just be honest for a second? Hold on, because I want to get this. I want to get this out real quick. What bothers me the most is that when Zack Snyder came out and started doing the whole Justice League and, you know, doing the DCEU and all that stuff, I know that he wanted to do a Green Lantern and he was going to have John Stewart. That's fine. I had no problem with that. The bigger problem that I had, and I'm not going to say it was only Zack Snyder. Obviously, this was a bit of Patty Jenkins and maybe the DCWB folks as well. How the hell y'all going to sit here and talk about Green Lantern? Hal Jordan is on the table and Chris Pine is sitting right there. Y'all had all them years to make Chris Pine, Hal Jordan, I mean, a perfect Hal Jordan. Look at this. Even an older Hal Jordan. And y'all dropped that bag. Instead, y'all made that man Steve. Y'all made him Steve and Wonder Woman. Why? Why? This man was going to be, and probably still could be, the perfect Hal Jordan. But y'all finna go with Brolin? Now, let me also be clear about this. These are rumors. James Gunn has continuously said, don't believe any rumors at all unless they come from me. You know, or, you know, if whatever, he will confirm stuff, right? Now, I normally would agree with this, and I normally would be very okay with listening to just James Gunn. However, y'all remember when we was talking about who was going to play Superman? These rumor people, they sure had David Cornsweet in the running. They had David Cornsweet. They was like, yo, it's going to be this person, that person, or it's going to be David Cornsweet. Who was it? Nicholas Hoult, they said was one of them, who ended up becoming Lex Luthor anyway. So I'm not going to sit here and dismiss these possibilities because we've seen that there's a chance. So I think this Josh Brolin thing has a chance. And we have a little bit more information here. Oh my gosh. It says here, Ewan McGregor and Matthew McConaughey are also being eyed to star as Hal Jordan in the Lanter. What? And that's if Josh Brolin declines. How did y'all go from worse to worser? I don't want Ewan McGregor playing Hal Jordan. Obi-Wan. Matthew McConaughey. Bro, I swear if Green Lantern comes in and says in brightest day and in brightest night, all right, I'm leaving the theater. I'm leaving. I don't want Matthew McConaughey as Hal Jordan, and anybody thinking that he's a possibility should be fired. That's not, stop it. Just stop it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, again, I know these are rumors, but I'm just saying the mere fact that these things are even possibilities is bothersome to me. It does say here, at least for, oh, hold on, there was an update here. Oops, my bad. Hold on. We got, oh, okay, hold on. Let me, oh man, I missed this. It also says here that Chris Pine, let's go, and Timothy Olyphant are on the short list for Hal Jordan, with Pine being the next choice if Brolin decline. Okay, listen. Did I not just say that? If Josh Brolin declines, which I hope Josh Brolin does decline, get Chris Pine. This is finally the time for DC to get things right. This is the time for them to just make sure they get everything together. Now, who was it? Timothy? Let me see. Timothy. I like Timothy though. Like, Timothy is cool. You know what? Timothy could do it. I'm okay. I'm not gonna be mad. I won't be mad if he does it. Oh, and look at that. Oh, I like that. Look, and y'all got them both together right there in the picture. Look at that. I would not be. Now, I still want Chris Pine first. But you know what? Look at that. And he got the little superhero jaw. You see the square jaw? I tell y'all how important that square jaw is. I tell y'all that's something. I would not be mad if he played the older Hal Jordan. I think that would actually work. So yeah, Timothy. So Chris Pine he should have been number one. Chris Pine should have been the number one pick from the jump. But McGregor and McConaughey, what? Did y'all owe them a favor? Anyway, we do have a little something, and this is from Daniel RPK about what we can expect from the Lanterns. Says here the studio wants Josh Brolin because Hal Jordan is an older, gruff, no nonsense mentor to Jon Stewart. Well, that sounds like acting. Chris Pine can act. Timothy can act. You don't need Josh Brolin to do that. If that's the case, why don't you get old dude Logan, from Succession? If you want somebody older, what are you talking about? No, anyway, filming begins next year. Superman. Oh, he says Superman is fantastic. Goes all out in fantasy. And the DCU, it's set across different timelines, not just present day. Many more unannounced movies and shows in development. Well, good for DC. Good for them. I hope the Static movie is in there somewhere. That'd be nice. I sure would like me a good old Static movie. But anyway, guys, what do you think about these Green Lantern casting rumors? Again, they are just rumors. We don't know if any of them are for sure or not. James Gunn has not denied or confirmed any of these either. So take these with a grain of salt. But who would you like to see play Hal Jordan in the DCU? Remember, whoever it is, this will be a character that will be on the TV, movies, and in the animation. Yeah, whatever you think, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, let's get on to our last topic. Well. Here we are once again for part 2 of the Beau DeMayo versus Marvel drama. So if you were here last time, just to kind of catch you up, I have a whole video on this as well. So if you need to go back and check it out, Beau DeMayo had been fired by Marvel. He was the showrunner and creator of X-Men 97. And before the show even came out, they fired him, right? And we all was kind of like, what happened? What's the deal? It was all these rumors and speculation that maybe it had to do with the fact that he had an OnlyFans, even though supposedly it was non-explicit. I wouldn't know. Yeah, I mean, throughout the entire series for X-Men 97, Beau DeMayo been out there tweeting and sharing his thoughts and posting things all day, every day, right? Now, listen, it is no secret that Beau DeMayo is obviously a black man, and he's also an openly gay black man. Apparently he is also allergic to wearing shirts. So if you go on his, timeline, yeah, you might get some stuff about, X-Men 97, but you probably gonna get some other stuff that, I don't know, maybe you're looking for that, maybe you're not. I don't know. But a lot of this started to escalate when Beau DeMayo came out and said that he was trying to get, he was trying to go to the Emmys because X-Men 97 got nominated. It did get nominated for an Emmy. Somebody had asked him like, yo, are you going to the Emmys? And he was like, man, I was trying to get a seat, but Marvel ain't hit a boy up, it ain't happening. And then he found out that Marvel actually stripped his credit for season 2. Now, keep in mind, Beau DeMayo did write season 1 and season 2 for X-Men 97. And apparently Marvel had enough. They had enough of Beau. They had enough of what was going on with him. And even though Marvel had been quiet, they had not talked about why he got fired or anything like that, Beau DeMayo put it out there. He put that business out there and was like, yo, not only am I not going to be able to go to the Emmys for a show I created, but Marvel is taking my credit away basically for the work that I did. Now, here's the other, caveat to this. We know that Marvel also hired a new writer to start doing season 3. So it's possible, and this is my guess, that they probably have the guy that they got now to do season 3. They probably have him rewriting season 2. So and here's the thing, Marvel can do that. This is not a new thing to have a writer write something and then for them to, because Marvel owns the IP. If Marvel wants to get a new writer to change things up, they literally do that all the time. So I don't know, and I'm not an entertainment lawyer, so don't quote me on this. I don't know how much of a leg Beau DeMayo has to stand on if Marvel does have another writer redo their work. Then if they put out something, because X-Men season 2 has not come out yet, if they put something out that's different, that's not your work, then technically I think they can strip your name away from it. I think if they give us something completely different. Anyway, because Beau called Marvel out, because he put their business out in the streets, Marvel was like, you know what? We're not playing no more. And they released a statement and they said Beau DeMayo basically got fired for egregious behavior. They said that Beau DeMayo, after they did a whole, investigation, that his behavior was just terrible. And then, of course, the news outlets started to get in on this, and we heard different rumors that some of this egregious behavior involved sexual misconduct. It involved abusive and emotional, problems. And one of the rumors suggested that Beau was out here sending out, allegedly, inappropriate images of himself to other staffers. So Beau recently came out and said, you know what? I got something for y'all. He went on his Twitter, on his social media. Now, he did say that he was going to take a break, which, if we're being honest, bro, you should have been taking a break. You should have been just sitting back, chilling. I know you got fired. I know this your baby, but you kept poking that bear too. You kept, like, every other day. It was like you saying something, but, and I understand, but still, he went on hiatus for a couple days, and then he came back and he was like, listen, I'm gonna let y'all know my side of the story, and I'm gonna let you know what happened, like what really happened. But let me actually get this for y'all. Because I know, where is it? Okay. Here it is. So he sat here and posted, and I'm just going to paraphrase this here, obviously. And it said here that Beau DeMayo says that he's revealing the whole truth about his Marvel situation on his OnlyFans account. And this is where he said this is the only place you're going to hear the whole truth. First of all, let me just say, bruh. Now, I'm just going to say, I'm not going on your OnlyFans to get some news. Not going to do that. Now I understand he got to make some money, right? I mean, he's probably blacklisted, probably not really getting a lot of work. I'm not knocking the hustle. But I'm just saying, bro, you had some other options. I'm sure you could have opened up a YouTube page. I'm sure you could have done like a members only type of thing. There's a lot of different options. Matter of fact, even Twitter gives you the option to have, I want to say, like subscribers only type of feed. You had options. You gonna bring it back to the OnlyFans, bro? The thing that actually had people kind of sus about you in the first place. But here's the other thing. Because this is actually what happened. Even someone like myself, who I cover this news, I talk about it, it's in the entertainment world, I get it. I don't care how much you cost. I don't care. It could be $2. I'm not paying that to go get this news. And the moment you drop this news, the moment you drop this video, the moment you drop whatever it is, somebody else is going to cover it. One of these bigger outlets are going to take whatever your video said, and they're going to take the news, and whatever you thought you were selling, they just going to talk about it. And that's exactly what happened. Because Variety got on it. Variety got it. Deadline got it. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, bro, how much money did you actually make? I mean, I hope he made a good amount. I hope he did. But I'm just saying, like, people can bootleg immediately. People can write news about it and steal whatever shine you thought you was going to get away from whatever your OnlyFans was going to give you. So let's go through the non-OnlyFans news about what Beau actually had to say, because apparently my man had to dish out some things. Now it does say here that a source talked to Variety, and they did confirm that it was Marvel let him go over sexual misconduct, and that DeMayo's credits were stripped because he violated the terms of his termination agreement. What does that mean? Basically, when he got fired from Marvel, and I'm just assuming this, they probably was like, yo, chill out. Stop talking about this show. Stop. Because the more you talk about this show, it's going to make people think that you still on this show, and you not. We broke up. Stop telling people we go together. We don't go together no more. Okay? Stop telling people about the good times we had. Stop telling them about the dates we used to go on. We broke up. But Beau was like, nah, man, nah. Remember that time? Gambit did his thing. Y'all remember when Madeline showed up? Like, my man was not giving up. My man was not letting it go. So he got fired. Like, they was like, yo, we told you to chill, but you didn't want to chill. So anyway, goes on and says here that DeMayo said this. These allegations are egregious misconduct. The allegations of egregious misconduct are false. He calls them lies. He said here that they are offensive, but more concerning is that they're a smear campaign designed to discredit my credibility in order to cover up egregious prejudicial misconduct stretching from select crew members on X-Men 97 all the way to the top of Marvel Studios. Wait a minute. Kevin, they talking about you? The top of Marvel Studios is Kevin Feige. Is this going all the way up to the top? Yikes. Now, he alleged that he experienced and witnessed misconduct while working on X-Men 97. He said, as a showrunner, and during his stint as a screenwriter as he was working on Blade. Don't forget, he did work on Blade, even though that fell through. Now, DeMayo says that the breaches in his exit agreement were posts that he made about X-Men 97. It had to do with posting the fan art. He spoke at a screening of the show. and he was highlighting different cast and crew and explaining how the massacre at the LGBT nightclub post 2016 was the inspiration about what happened with the mutants in Genosha. So once again, all that time, and here's the thing, I loved it. I love that he was giving us this insight and all this background information, but every single time this man was talking about X-Men 97, he was violating the terms and agreements, probably of his NDA, of his termination. So Marvel was like, all right, we found some dirt. We're firing you for this dirt. But whatever this is, we're not going to talk about it as long as you be quiet. But Beau was like, nah, man, this is my baby. I'm going to talk about my baby. Okay? I made this. I'm going to talk about it. It is what it is. So Beau made a choice. Beau made a choice to keep talking about this. Now, as a fan, I'm here for it, but hey. Now, he also alleged that Disney blacklisted him from third-party non-Disney Comic-Con panels and blocked him from attending the Emmys next week. I mean, listen, I understand how difficult it is to be blocked from something that you created and that you worked on. But you also got fired. I mean, maybe they don't want you associated, because keep in mind, it's still their property. It's still their IP. I totally agree. Beau DeMayo, that is your baby. You created it. You worked on it. But it's almost like, and again, I'm not an entertainment lawyer, but it's almost like you were a contractor. Marvel Studios, Marvel, they own this property called X-Men. They hired you to come in and write something. You did a good job, but it still belongs to them. They own the rights. You know, like they are getting all the child support here. They have custody. They got full custody. Right? Like y'all had a joint agreement, but you kept showing up at the door when it wasn't your time or your day. You kept violating the terms of y'all agreement, allegedly. Okay, I don't know all the details. I'm just saying, if it's not your day to show up, I don't think you're supposed to show up. I don't think that's allowed. So yes, Marvel, Disney, they're going to tell you not to go to things related to the property that they own. I get that. Now, DeMayo also outlined several specific allegations of misconduct against Marvel. Now, I'm going to just give y'all a heads up. There are a lot of different things here that he alleges. Some of these things don't have anything to do with Marvel, the entity, the brand, the company. Some of them are against like certain artists or whatever. I'm not going to go over those because I don't think that those are, I think those are kind of separate. I'm going more so about what he was talking about with the executives, people in charge. I'm going to go over more of those instead. So DeMayo alleged that his identity as a gay black man was weaponized by Marvel to undermine him. Basically, they would use, things like, oh, he's a big black man. He's intimidating. He's opinionated. Okay, so they were throwing around stereotypical things. He alleges that he fought Marvel executives over his desire to adapt storylines from previously established X-Men comic book runs rather than create brand new stories for the show. And Marvel called him uncollaborative, too difficult, and too much of a fanboy. They openly resented me for fighting for the fans. Beau, I don't know if I can rock with you on this one, bro. I'm a comic fan. Okay. I respect when things are adapted from the comics, but I don't need them to come straight from the comics. I don't need a one-for-one adaptation from the comics. So, from what I just read from your allegation, you're saying that Marvel was asking you to make something new. You didn't want to make something new. You wanted to make something based off of what was already in the comics. And they were like, yo, you being real difficult. Like, we're asking you, we're hiring you to make something new and different for our audience. And you're like, nah, I'm doing this for the fans. Hold on, bro. Did we ask you for that? Because all I'm saying is, if you told me X-Men 97 was going to give me new stories about the X-Men, I'm still showing up. It was never a deciding factor that in order to make X-Men great, it had to be hardcore, straight up stories from the comics. That was never a deal breaker for me. I just wanted the X-Men characters portrayed genuinely. And yes, I'm always in line for giving me something new. I'm always going to be here for giving me something original. Yeah, bro. I'm sorry. I can't rock with you on this one. I don't know which fans you was talking. You are kind of sounding like a fanboy. Just no, I can't rock with you on that one. Now, he alleged that the executives painted him as abusive when he declined to have the character of Jubilee make gang signs or paint the sky with plasmoids in the shape of a middle finger. Y'all fighting over Jubilee? All right. Okay. Now, DeMayo alleged that there was near criminal working conditions for VFX and animation artists at Marvel. People who worked on X-Men 97 were rapidly losing weight and having mental breakdowns. He experienced retaliation. Okay. Now that is an allegation. And that is something that we've actually heard from multiple different outlets and sources before, because Marvel does have a reputation, whether it's valid or not, they have a reputation of overworking the VFX and animation people. So that, okay, all right, you might have something there. He's adding to that fuel. He alleged that he notified a producer on X-Men 97 that one of our leads is having a potentially exploitive sexual relationship with a PA. I'm assuming a production assistant. And the producer buried this report and informed the individual in question of DeMayo's complaint. Yikes. Okay, that sounds like an HR issue. Like, if you the showrunner and you saying that, hey, somebody on the team is having a potentially inappropriate relationship, and you go and trick and snitch off to that person that, hey, they telling on you, that I can see that being problematic. I don't like that. So that's an HR issue for sure. He alleged that the same producer repeatedly joked to the crew that he showed DeMayo's thirst traps on Instagram to his underage son. Why? What? Okay, it sounds like that producer needs some help. All right, we're gonna skip all this other stuff. Okay. When DeMayo requested contacting producers of RuPaul's Drag Race about promoting X-Men 97, he alleged that he was told by Marvel that they wouldn't want to alienate certain audiences. Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with Marvel on that one. Now here's the thing. Obviously, the X-Men were created to represent all forms of discrimination and people and groups that face that. But it's also, you know, it's a big umbrella that it catches, right? And here's the only argument that I would give against going to RuPaul's, or RuPaul's Drag Race and all that. Obviously, that will placate towards the LGBTQ community, and that's fine. But you don't want other people to be like, oh, so X-Men 97 is just for the LGBTQ community. Okay, that's not for me. Versus, let's flip the script. Let's say it wasn't RuPaul's Drag Race. Let's say, hey, we want to have X-Men 97 promoted on BET. Oh, so X-Men 97 is only for Black folks? Okay, cool. You're not talking to me. Let me go somewhere else. Or let's say that we push this to OWN, or I don't know, some all-woman Lifetime, or something like that, some all-female watching channel or show, The View. Let's say we promote it on The View. Oh, so this is only for women. So I understand that, yeah, you don't want to alienate all these groups, because you do want everybody, all groups, to come in, watch X-Men 97 and take a piece, because there are strong women, there are LGBTQ, there are Black folks, there are all these elements. So I think I'm gonna side with the PR group on that one. Like, you don't want to pigeonhole the show into one thing, because it really does capture all of them. So I understand that. I understand that. DeMayo alleges that Marvel execs joked in front of him that they hired a young Wesley Snipes to write on Blade. And he said that this was one of the reasons why he wanted to make the video, because he wanted to show people that him and Wesley Snipes look nothing alike. Yikes. Okay, that's a little racist. That's a little racist, if that is true. DeMayo says that the last straw for him was when he arrived on production on the offices of Blade at Tyler Perry Studio in Atlanta and was told that someone needs to crack the whip around here. September 2022. He sent his concerns about what he saw as prejudicial conditions on the film to leadership at Marvel. And in return, he said, I was removed from the project Blade in the middle of moving to Atlanta for production, and then had my role on season 2 of X-Men aggressively marginalized. Yikes. Now, just in case, for some of you that don't understand the reference, being in Atlanta, which is a majority Black area, and place where, slavery was rampant in the South, cracking a whip around here is it can have negative connotations. When you're in an all Black area down in the South, cracking the whip will kind of come off as a reference from slavery. It can have that connotation. Now, if you said something like that in Wyoming, I highly doubt it would carry the same inference. But in Atlanta and the Tyler Perry studio, it was a very, very poor choice of words. Very poor. And I'm just going to make the rough assumption that this came from a white executive at Marvel. It's not like they got that much diversity. Anyway, DeMayo says that he has the receipts and eyewitnesses to back up his claims. He would prefer to relay them to authorities at Marvel and Disney so that those responsible are able to receive what I was not, a full and fair investigation away from the public eye. Now that, I would say, is pretty commendable if that is the approach he wants to take. So in other words, he wants Marvel to handle some of these allegations or people that probably said or did some of these offensive things, rather than putting all their laundry out there, right? Which he already kind of is doing. So he's not going to name no names, but it sounds like he's trying to at least give Marvel the opportunity to right these wrongs, alleged wrongs. Let me say that. So I don't know. I guess if we start hearing that certain people get fired for uncertain reasons, maybe this is connected. I don't know. We'll see. Now DeMayo's lawyer, okay, is also here, and he filed a lawsuit against Marvel on Tuesday, seeking to invalidate the non-disparagement provision in DeMayo's separation agreement, or in the NDA. So he said here that information about unlawful acts in the workplace, such as harassment or discrimination, if he can get rid of that, if he can find an exception to the NDA, he's basically saying that this violates California law. So the NDA should not block anybody from talking about potential illegal behavior or unlawful behavior. Because right now, if Beau DeMayo says certain things, Marvel could sue him based off of the NDA that he signed. So it sounds like his lawyer is like, yo, we need to get rid of that, because if some unlawful things actually did happen, this NDA should not block his client from being able to talk about it. And that is what we have so far about Beau DeMayo versus Marvel. Woo! Man, this is getting messy. I mean, they not even in court. Like, I would have thought that they would have at least, had a settlement, chilled out, whatever. But nah, that ain't what happening right now. Like, they don't like each other. They don't like each other. Now, I didn't mention this before, but I probably should have. But this is not the first time DeMayo has been removed from a project with similar allegations. I didn't do a lot of research into it, but I've heard, so take it with a grain of salt, I've heard that he was also reprimanded for sexual misconduct or allegations on The Witcher, when he was on The Witcher. So my man's got a reputation. Now, what's crazy here is that it sounds like both people are messy. Marvel has had a bad reputation with VFX artists, and who knows what other negative things happen, there. But it sounds like Beau DeMayo got a rap too. It looks like he got a whole rap sheet too. I don't know what to make of this. To me, it sounds like two toxic creative people got together, and it's just messy. It's messy, nasty, messy. Messed up. Anyway, guys, what do y'all think about this Marvel drama? How do you feel about Beau DeMayo's allegations against Marvel? Do you believe him? Do you side with him? Are you team Beau? Are you team Marvel? Are you team, I don't know, get me away from all this nonsense? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, JN, what you got? My suggestion, hold on, let me open this up here. I closed this too soon. My suggestion, before Black creatives work in Hollywood, they need to work in corporate America. I've learned so much in my 10+ years in corporate. And Jubilee is a gang member? Bro, I have no idea. That Jubilee thing definitely threw me for a loop. I was like, what? Wait, what? Like, we're doing what now? With who? Gang signs? Are y'all for real? Yeah, that to me was definitely a weird thing. Did not get that point at all. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you though. Working in corporate America, I will say, does give you a good sample of what you can expect, out there. It's a good way to really get your experience in terms of like how to deal with the corporate world, how to deal with um all different types of discrimination, challenges, etc. So yeah, yes, I'm with you on that. All right. Now, who was it? Taz, my man. You had mentioned what I need or what I had going on with my fantasy team. Let me get you the scoop real quick. Let me make it bigger. I did not change my team name yet, so forgive me on that. But starting at QB, we got my man Joe Burrow. Okay. And we got Derrick Henry out there, I mean, he ain't get everything I needed, but he got a touchdown. Mondre Stevenson, Amin Ra, Malik Neighbors, Sam Laporta, Brian Robinson, Tony Pollard, Seahawks, but that's only a one-time thing. We ain't gonna, do too much. You see how I locked up that backfield? I got Tony Pollard and I got Tajay Spears. So listen, one of them gonna pop. One of them is gonna pop. That's all I need. Just one. Brian Thomas, nice little prospect. We got the Baltimore D. We're gonna switch that out next week, but we got the Baltimore D. Raheed Shaheed, whatever. Just need a throwaway. Tyler Algier, Khalil Herbert, shout out to the Bears. So we doing some things. We doing some things. Who am I facing? I don't even know who I'm facing. Route runners. I don't know who route runners is. Let me see. What does ESPN say? Am I gonna win this? I don't know what they say the projections is. 135 to 128. All right, let's go. We just need everybody to show up and do their job. That's all. I just need people to show up and do their job. Okay. Yes, I know I'm gonna need a QB on by week 5. Mind your business. We gonna be all right. We are gonna be all right. But guys, I want to thank y'all so much. Shout out to Taz, man. Thank you for that as well. Yeah, so thank you guys. Appreciate you so much for hanging out. I missed you. It was a good time. I'm about to see if I can find a way to watch this game without having it spoiled for me. I don't think that's gonna happen though. But anyway, appreciate you. Thank you so much. We will be back here same time next week. Talking about the news and all that. And yeah, but stay on the lookout. We're definitely going to be going over From. I'm going to be dropping videos, theories, predictions, all that fun stuff about From. Stay tuned for that as well. You know the routine. Make sure you have a fantastic weekend. Be safe, have fun, enjoy yourself, wash your hands, wash your butts, everything in between. Until next time, peace.